Your words are a wand. Every sentence you speak is a decree. Every word that leaves your lips is a seed, and those seeds do not vanish into the air. They fall into the soil of spirit and grow into your experience. Most people pick up a lottery ticket and whisper under their breath, "I never win," or "I probably wasted my money." And then they are surprised when the results mirror their words. But I am here to teach you that you are never surprised. You are only seeing the harvest of your own declarations. I want you to understand something profound. Your words are not idle chatter. They carry vibration. They carry faith or fear. They carry truth or doubt. When you speak over your lottery ticket, your finances, your relationships, or any desire of your heart, you are programming the outcome. The universe listens. God's spiritual law responds. Angels lean close to carry out your words. This is why I tell my students, stop using your tongue to describe your circumstances and start using it to declare what you desire. The 3 words I am going to give you are not magic. They are spiritual law. They are rooted in faith, in scripture, in truth. When spoken with conviction, they open the door to miracles because they align you with the divine supply that already exists for you. You see, God does not create lack. There is no shortage in heaven. Shortage exists only in the minds of those who believe in it and speak it over their lives. The lottery is not luck, it is alignment. Every dollar you desire already exists in spirit, and your words are the key to call it forth. So when you hold that ticket in your hand, or when you think of any desire in your heart, you must speak life over it. Never again say, "I never win." Never again say, "I'm not lucky." Replace those dead words with living words, because life and death are in the power of the tongue. If your words have been cursing your finances, today you will reverse the curse and open the door to unexpected blessings. I have seen these principles work in astonishing ways. Years ago, a woman came to me in tears, saying she was buried in debt. She had played the lottery many times but only spoke defeat over herself. She said things like, "I'll never catch a break," and money just slips through my fingers. I gave her a new declaration, rooted in faith, and told her to speak it every time she touched money, paid a bill, or thought about wealth. Within weeks, she received a financial breakthrough, not from the lottery, but from an inheritance she never knew she had. Her words called it forth. You see, the lottery is only one channel. God is your source. The moment you understand this truth, you stop chasing luck and start activating law. When you speak words of truth and faith, miracles will flow to you through the easiest and fastest channel available. That could be a winning ticket, or it could be an opportunity, a gift, a promotion, or an unexpected windfall. The form does not matter, your alignment does. Now, here are the 3 words I want you to speak over your ticket, over your wallet, over your life. Erase UVNOW. Say them slowly. Say them with certainty. Say them with the authority of one who knows that abundance is already theirs by divine right. You are not begging, you are receiving. You are not wishing, you are claiming. Every time you speak those words, see yourself already holding the prize, already living in wealth, already walking in peace. Feel it, believe it, and let your voice carry that vibration into spirit. When you hold that ticket, don't say, "I hope I win." Hope is passive. Faith is active. Speak these words, "I receive now," and watch how life begins to rearrange itself to bring you blessings. Whether they come through numbers on a ticket or a door you never expected to open, the law is exact. What you decree, you create. This teaching is not about gambling. It is about consciousness. The lottery is only a mirror of your beliefs about wealth. When you learn to speak truth, you become magnetic to money in every form. The same faith that can win a lottery can cancel debt, create opportunities, and draw miracles from every corner of the universe. So take that ticket in your hand, close your eyes, and declare with all the authority of heaven, "I receive no," and then stand back and watch. You have planted a seed that must grow, because God's word never returns void. You have spoken truth, and truth always manifests. The power is not in the numbers. It is in your words. Your words are not harmless. They are not empty expressions or random chatter. Every word you speak is a spiritual decree, a command to the invisible forces of life. When you understand this, you will stop speaking carelessly, because you will realize that every phrase is either planting blessings or planting burdens. The scriptures say, "By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned." That is not poetic language, it is a law that governs your entire life. When God created the heavens and the earth, He spoke, "Let there be light," and there was light. His words carried the full weight of divine power, and that same principle operates in you. You are made in His image and likeness, which means your words also carry power. When you declare something with faith, you are creating it. When you speak doubt and fear, you are also creating those realities. Life does not decide for you. You decide with your tongue. This is why I often say, your word is your wand. A magician's wand waves in the air to create illusions, but your word waves in spirit to create truth. If you are not careful, you may spend your life waving your wand in the wrong direction, summoning lack and struggle without even realizing it. Every time you say, "I'm broke," you write it into your life. Every time you say, "I never win," you affirm your own loss. But when you boldly say, "I am supplied, I am blessed, I am favored," you activate heaven itself to bring those truths to pass. Many people pray but cancel their prayers with their speech. They ask God for provision but immediately say, "I doubt it will ever happen." They declare healing yet tell everyone about their sickness. The law cannot bless a double-minded declaration. You must align your words with your faith. Speak what you want, not what you fear. Faith never talks about defeat. Faith speaks victory as if it has already come. Let me give you an example. I once worked with a man who desperately needed work. He had been unemployed for months, and every time he came to me, he would sigh and say, "No one wants to hire me. There are no opportunities." I told him, "My dear, your words are blocking your blessing. You are declaring lack every time you speak." I gave him a new affirmation, "I am divinely led to my perfect work, and it comes to me quickly and easily under grace." I instructed him to speak it daily with conviction, as if he already had the job. Within 2 weeks, he was offered a position far better than any he had applied for. That is not coincidence, that is law. Your words create a vibration, and that vibration draws matching experiences. Speak fear and fear will come. Speak faith and miracles will appear. This is why I tell my students never to speak of themselves or others in a negative way. You are not simply talking, you are planting seeds in the soil of spirit, and spirit is obedient. It will return to you whatever you decree, whether you believe in this law or not. If you have spent years speaking struggle, you may feel trapped by your own words. But here is the good news: you can reverse the curse. The same mouth that declared defeat can declare victory. The same tongue that spoke lack can speak abundance. The law does not hold grudges, it responds to your words in the present moment. That means you can start fresh today. Right now, this very moment, you can begin planting new seeds of faith, and your life will reflect them. Every desire you hold, wealth, health, love, success, already exists in spirit. It is not far from you, it is waiting to manifest, and your words are the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you speak with authority, you bring invisible blessings into visible form. The law is exact. It does not play favorites. It simply reflects the vibration of your speech. So if you are holding a lottery ticket, understand this. The ticket itself does not hold power. Your words do. The numbers are neutral. But when you speak life over that ticket, when you declare abundance over your finances, when you boldly claim your divine inheritance, you are aligning with a law that can use any channel, even a simple slip of paper, to bless you. The miracle is not in the ticket, the miracle is in you. Decide today that your tongue will be your greatest ally. Never again will you curse your own life with careless words. Speak blessings over your finances, your body, your relationships, your future. Wake up every morning and declare, "This is a day of miracles. I walk in divine favor. Everything I need flows to me now." Say it with authority. Say it until your voice carries the vibration of certainty. Because the law will not fail you. Heaven always moves in response to faith-filled words. Remember this truth: your words are not powerless whispers. They are creative forces. You are made in the image of God, and your voice carries divine weight. Speak, and it shall be so. Declare, and it will come to pass. This is the law of your life, and when you use it intentionally, you will never again wonder why blessings come. They will become your natural way of living. These 3 words are a key that unlocks the door to blessings. Affirmations, they are simple, but they carry a vibration of truth and authority that few understand. Most people live their entire lives begging for blessings that are already theirs. They say, I hope it comes, or maybe one day I'll get my breakthrough. And yet, hope without faith leaves them waiting endlessly, because spirit does not respond to begging, spirit responds to belief. When you say Affirmations, you are declaring that what you desire already exists in the unseen and that you are ready to step into it. You are not asking, you are claiming. You are not waiting for luck, you are activating law. This is not arrogance, it is faith. Faith is confidence in God's word, confidence that His promises are true. The scripture says, What things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Notice it does not say, believe you will receive one day. It says, believe you receive them now. Your words are creative. When you speak Affirmations, you align yourself with the present moment, the only place where power exists. Spirit does not work in someday, spirit works in now. When you say, Affirmations, you close the gap between your desire and your manifestation. You shift your vibration from longing to possessing, from hoping to having, and the law of attraction responds with precision, rearranging circumstances, opening doors, and sending blessings through whatever channel is fastest. Yes, even through a lottery ticket, if that is the way spirit chooses. Many people do not realize that when they say, I hope, or maybe, they are postponing their blessings. Hope is a beautiful thing, but it is passive. Faith is active. Faith claims the promise and receives it before there is any physical evidence. That is why these 3 words are so powerful. They take you out of waiting and place you in receiving. Let me explain it this way. Imagine you have ordered something valuable online. You don't sit by the door and say, I hope it comes, maybe one day. No, you already know it's yours. You have a confirmation number. You speak as if it's on the way because it is. That's exactly how spiritual law works. Your words of faith are your confirmation. When you say, Affirmations, heaven sees that as your spiritual signature. You are signing for the blessing and saying, it's mine. I once worked with a man who had been struggling financially for years. He played the lottery often, but spoke words of defeat every time. I never win. My luck is terrible, I told him. It is not luck, it is law. And you are using the law against yourself. I gave him these 3 words, Affirmations. I instructed him to say it with feeling whenever he touched his wallet, whenever he purchased a ticket, and whenever he thought about money. Within a month, he received a financial breakthrough, not through the lottery at first, but through unexpected business opportunities that cleared his debts and left him with surplus. Later, he did win a small lottery prize, but he understood that his victory wasn't tied to numbers on paper, it was tied to his words. When you speak these words, understand this, you are not commanding God to move, He has already moved. You are aligning yourself with His abundance. The supply is already here. The issue is not God's willingness, but your readiness to receive. By saying Affirmations, you position yourself as one who is already blessed, already supplied, already favored, and spirit cannot resist a soul that is aligned with truth. Every time you hold a lottery ticket or anything you desire, do not speak fear over it. Do not say, this probably won't work. Those words create resistance. Instead, look at it with expectation and declare, Affirmations. Feel those words as you say them. Imagine you already hold the prize. Imagine yourself paying off every debt, blessing your family, living in peace, giving generously. Speak it, feel it, believe it, and then release it with gratitude. This is not desperation, this is faith in action, and do not limit these words to money alone. Speak them over your health, Affirmations. Speak them over your relationships, Affirmations. Speak them over your dreams, your career, your destiny. The law is the same in every area of life. Whatever you declare as received must appear, because words are seeds and spirit is faithful to water them. There is a reason I chose this phrase instead of saying, I will receive, or I might receive. The moment you put your blessing in the future, it stays in the future. The universe is always working in the present. So you must speak in the present. Declare, I rasi Nabu. You are not trying to manifest something, you are stepping into what already belongs to you. Today, I challenge you, take your lottery ticket, your wallet, or even a simple dollar bill, hold it in your hand, close your eyes, and declare, I Roskivan Mo, feel the truth of those words. Let them carry the authority of heaven. Then release every doubt. You will be amazed at how quickly the channels of supply open to you, because spirit responds not to begging but to believing. Remember this truth, you do not have to chase your blessings. They are already chasing you. Your words simply open the door. Speak them boldly, speak them daily, and your life will overflow with proof that faith is stronger than chance. The law is exact. When you declare, you create. When you receive in spirit, you cannot be denied in the physical. So say it again with me, I Rav Ivanababo, and watch miracles unfold. Close your eyes now and take a deep, steady breath. Breathe in peace. Breathe out tension. Again, inhale deeply, and let your whole body relax. In this moment, you are stepping into the realm where miracles are formed, where every blessing already exists, waiting for you to align with it. This is your sacred space, where spirit meets your faith, and nothing is impossible. Imagine yourself standing in a golden light. It surrounds you like the morning sun, warm and alive, filling the room and pouring into your heart. This light is God's supply, infinite and unending, and it knows your name. It has no limits. It has no struggle, it simply flows. And in this light, every desire of your heart is already complete. You are not asking for abundance, you are stepping into the abundance that has been waiting for you all along. Now, see yourself holding your lottery ticket, or whatever symbol of wealth you choose. In your hand, it is just a piece of paper, but in spirit, it is a doorway to something greater, a reminder of your faith, a channel for supply to flow to you. Look at it with expectation, not doubt. Feel its energy shifting in your hands as your faith activates it. In this moment, you are not hoping to win, you are receiving. Speak softly but with conviction. I Rashiveno W. As you say those words, see your entire life rearranging itself. See debts being erased from your records. See your bank accounts overflowing with funds. Picture yourself writing checks to bless others, giving freely because your cup is overflowing. Visualize yourself walking through your home with joy and peace, knowing every bill is paid, every need is met, and there is still more than enough. Let your heart swell with gratitude as if it has already happened, because in spirit it has. Now take this vision further. Imagine stepping into a beautiful place, a palace of abundance. The walls glisten like gold, and the atmosphere hums with peace and joy. This is the realm of divine supply. Here, there is no lack, no fear, no striving, only the endless flow of God's provision. See angels moving about, arranging details, preparing blessings with your name on them. They are not scrambling or struggling, they are calmly fulfilling your faith-filled words. Every time you said, I Rafa now, they moved into action, bringing your vision into form. As you stand in this palace of abundance, notice that you are clothed in confidence. You are not anxious, you are radiant. The light of spirit shines through you because you have finally accepted that abundance is your birthright. You do not have to fight for it or chase it. It is already yours. You are walking through halls filled with treasures prepared for you before you even ask. Now picture yourself walking out of this palace and back into your daily life, but nothing is the same. You carry that abundance energy with you. Every step you take is guided. Every door you approach opens before you. People are drawn to bless you. Unexpected opportunities find you easily. It may come through a lottery ticket, a business opportunity, a gift, or a miracle you could never have predicted. But you know deep within your spirit that it is done. Take another deep breath. Place your hand over your heart and whisper again, I receive in a bow. As you say these words, imagine waves of energy flowing from your mouth, rippling through the universe, activating blessings that will return to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The vibration of your words is rewriting your life even now. Stay in this moment for a while. Let gratitude flood your soul. Say softly, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for my abundance. Thank you that everything I desire is already mine by divine right. See yourself walking through life with this calm confidence, knowing that every resource you need is already on its way. You are not hoping anymore, you are knowing. You are not waiting, you are receiving. Now imagine this. You are at home, sitting with your lottery ticket or your finances, and the news of your breakthrough arrives. See yourself laughing with joy, your heart overflowing, tears of gratitude streaming down your face. Feel that emotion in your body right now, because this is the key to manifestation. Feeling it as if it is already here. The universe cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality when faith is involved. It simply responds to vibration. Slowly open your eyes, carrying that image with you. Keep this vision alive all day. Each time doubt tries to creep in, close your eyes for a moment and see yourself back in that palace of abundance. Speak again, I receive no double. Feel the energy of those words. Let them flow through you like a river of light. This is not fantasy, this is faith, and faith always creates. Visualization is not daydreaming, it is spiritual blueprinting. You are building your life in spirit first, so that it can appear in your physical reality. If you will hold this vision daily, speak your words boldly, and refuse to contradict them with fear, the miracle must come. The law is exact. Spirit never fails. So now, every time you hold your lottery ticket, or your bank card, or even a simple coin, see it glowing with divine energy and say with boldness, I receive no bow. These words, backed by vision and faith, will unlock blessings faster than effort ever could. You have planted the seed. You have seen it bloom. Now stand back in gratitude and watch it manifest. I want to share with you stories that prove these words are not theory, but law in action. Over the years, I have witnessed countless miracles unfold for those who dared to speak truth with faith. Some came believing they had nothing left, others were burdened with fear, sickness, or debt. Yet each of them learned that the moment they aligned their words with spirit, their entire lives began to shift. One woman came to me broken-hearted and fearful. She had been out of work for months, bills were piling high, and she felt utterly hopeless. I've tried everything, she told me. I've prayed, I've worked hard, but I feel invisible. No one notices me. No opportunities come. I looked at her and said, You have been speaking what you see, rather than speaking what you desire. You are declaring defeat over yourself every day. I gave her an affirmation. I am divinely led to my perfect work. I am recognized, valued, and abundantly supplied. I told her to repeat it daily and to hold the image of herself already employed, already thriving. At first, it felt unnatural to her. She confessed that when she said those words, her mind screamed back, That's not true. But I told her, Your words are not meant to describe your life. They are meant to change it. Keep speaking them. Within 2 weeks, she received a phone call from a company she had applied to months before. Not only was she offered the position, but it was a role far above what she thought she was qualified for, with a salary beyond her imagination. She came back to me in tears saying, It felt like a miracle. And I said, It was no miracle, it was law. Her words, her faith, and her vision came together, and the universe had no choice but to respond. Another story is of a gentleman who loved playing the lottery. He would buy tickets but constantly mutter, I never win anything. And that is exactly what he experienced, loss after loss. When he came to me, I explained the law of words to him, that what he was speaking was shaping his results. He was planting seeds of failure every time he spoke. I gave him a new phrase to say, I receive no bow. I told him to say it not just over his tickets, but over his life, over his finances, over every decision he made. I asked him to feel as if he already held the prize, to speak with joy and expectation. Within a few weeks, he won a small prize, just enough to excite him. but not life-changing. But what happened next was extraordinary. A friend he hadn't spoken to in years reached out with a business opportunity. That single connection opened a door that brought him more wealth than he had ever dreamed possible. Later, he told me, I thought I was speaking over a ticket, but I realize now I was speaking over my destiny. That's the truth. The ticket was only a symbol. The law of spirit was not bound to a slip of paper. It was bound to his faith. There was also a woman who had been sick for years. Doctors had given her little hope. She told me she woke up every morning saying, I'm so tired of being sick. I'll never be well. I looked her in the eye and said, those words are keeping you bound. Your body is listening to your voice. I gave her this affirmation, I am radiant, strong and healthy. Divine life flows through me now. I told her to say it daily, even when she felt weak, even when her circumstances said otherwise. She began to visualize herself walking with energy, laughing with her family, living free of pain. Slowly but surely, her health improved. 1 year later, she was fully healed, she said. It felt like the sickness dissolved as I changed my speech. And I told her, that's exactly what happened. Your words rewrote your life. But each of these stories shows that miracles are not random, they are the natural result of spiritual law. Faith-filled words create. The universe is not choosing winners and losers at random. It is responding to your vibration, your declarations, your inner agreement with truth. When you speak words like Arai Cei Nobo, you are not gambling, you are aligning with a higher reality. Spirit will use the fastest and most efficient channel to bless you. It could be through a lottery ticket, or it could be through unexpected gifts, new opportunities, or connections you could never have planned. But the law is exact. When you declare it and believe it, it must manifest. So many people go through life feeling powerless, as if their circumstances are stronger than they are. But these testimonies prove otherwise. Your words hold more power than your environment, your bank account, or your past. If these people could rewrite their lives by changing their speech, so can you. The same spirit that moved for them is moving for you right now. I want you to see yourself in these stories. Imagine your own breakthrough. Imagine your finances overflowing, your body radiating health, your heart filled with joy. And now understand you have the same power they had. The difference is not in luck, the difference is in law. And that law is waiting for your faith-filled voice. Speak it boldly, and your testimony will be next. Now that you understand the power of these words, I want to teach you exactly how to use them so they become a part of your daily life. Not just something you whisper over a lottery ticket, but a truth you speak into every corner of your world. This is not about superstition. This is about spiritual discipline. Just as you would train your body to grow strong, you must train your tongue to speak faith until it becomes second nature. Here is how to begin. 1. Start your morning with declaration. Before you even step out of bed, place your hand over your heart and say out loud, I Rasi Ive Nabo. Do not wait until you feel ready. Speak it before your feet touch the ground. Say it with gratitude, as if you've already opened the door to blessings. This simple act sets the vibration for your entire day. It tells your subconscious mind, we are living as receivers, not beggars. We are aligned with abundance, not lack. The first words you speak in the morning are seeds. Plant faith first, and your day will reflect it. 2. Speak over symbols of supply. Every day you touch symbols of wealth. Your wallet, your bank card, your bills, even your lottery ticket. Each of these items carries energy, and your words determine that energy. Instead of groaning when you pay a bill or muttering fear when you buy a ticket, hold these items in your hand and speak, I Rasi Ivanov. See yourself already holding the provision you desire. Bless every dollar you send out, knowing it will return multiplied. Speak abundance over your lottery ticket, not with desperation, but with calm confidence. Understand that this act is not about hoping for luck. It is about aligning your heart and voice with truth. Spirit can use any channel to bless you, but your words open the gate. 3. Use I Rasi Ivanabu during moments of fear. Whenever you feel fear rising, fear of not having enough, fear of failure, fear of rejection, pause. Take a deep breath and speak I rasi Ivan abublu. Say it firmly with authority. You are reminding yourself and the universe that you live under spiritual law, not fear. Fear is only a shadow. Your faith-filled words are light, and light always dissolves darkness. The more you use this phrase in moments of fear, the more your subconscious mind will begin to shift. Soon, faith will become your default response, and opportunities will start appearing as if out of nowhere. 4. Write it down. There is power in writing your affirmations. Write I rasi Ivino Bubyu on sticky notes and place them around your home, on your mirror, your refrigerator, your wallet. Carry a card in your pocket that says these words, and every time you touch it, say the affirmation aloud. Writing these words reinforces them in your subconscious, making them part of your inner language. 5. Pair it with visualization when you say, I rasi Ivano Mo. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself already living in the result. See yourself holding the prize, paying off debts, blessing others, living in abundance. Feel the emotions of gratitude and joy as if it has already happened. Your imagination is a powerful tool. It is a spiritual blueprint. By pairing these words with vision, you create a powerful vibration that calls your desires into physical forms. 6. Speak it over others. Remember, your words don't just shape your life, they can bless others too. Speak I rasiu Ivinondu over your children, your spouse, your friends. Say it silently when you see someone struggling. You will be amazed at how quickly your relationships improve, because your voice carries divine energy that lifts everyone around you. 7. Use gratitude as your anchor after you say, I rasiu Namo. Always follow it with a word of gratitude. Thank you, Spirit, for my abundance. Thank you that everything I desire is already mine by divine right. Gratitude seals your faith. It signals to the universe that you are not begging but receiving. It changes your posture from lack to overflow, from fear to joy. This daily practice is not about working harder, it is about aligning your spirit. Many people are chasing blessings with anxiety, but blessings chase those who know how to receive. When you declare, I rasi Iv now, you are stepping into the flow of divine supply. The right people will appear. The right opportunities will find you. Money will come through unexpected channels. Even your lottery ticket becomes more than paper. It becomes a symbol of your willingness to trust spiritual law. Whether your breakthrough comes through a winning number, a job offer, a gift, or a miracle you never imagined, the law is the same. What you boldly declare and believe, you will see. Make this phrase your spiritual habit. Say it when you rise. Say it when you rest. Say it when you touch money, when you feel fear, when you dream big. You will find that these 3 words will become like a shield, a magnet, and a key all at once. They will shield you from negativity, magnetize abundance, and unlock doors that seemed shut. Remember, you are not waiting for your blessing to appear. You are stepping into what has already been prepared for you. Speak these words not as a wish but as a decree. I rasi Ivina Babo. Say it with joy, with certainty, with faith. Then watch as heaven rearranges your life to match your words. Spirit cannot resist a soul that speaks truth. The moment you declare, I rasi now, angels are dispatched, circumstances shift, and miracles are set in motion. I want you to hear me now, and I want you to hear me with your spirit. The life you desire is not far from you. It is not locked away in some unreachable vault. It is waiting right here, right now for you to align your words with truth. For too long you may have spoken defeat. You have declared, I'm unlucky, I'm broke, I can't. Those words have been shaping your life, and perhaps you feel trapped in a cycle of lack, fear, and disappointment. But today that cycle ends. Today you are receiving a new truth, and with that truth comes the power to create a new future. I challenge you now to step into your authority. Speak like one who knows they are a child of God. Act like someone who understands that the Creator of the universe placed His creative power in their voice. Stop waiting for someone else to change your life, for the winning number to appear, for the perfect timing to arrive. The power to create change is already in your mouth. You are not helpless. You are not forgotten. You are a creator, and your words are the keys that unlock every blessing. For the next 7 days, I dare you to make I resi ivno w your constant declaration. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you touch your wallet or your lottery ticket. Say it when doubt tries to whisper. It won't happen for you. Say it when you feel fear rising. Say it when you look at bills, when you step into a store, when you see something you desire. Declare it boldly, because these words are not a wish. They are law. Speak them until you feel them vibrate through your body. Speak them until your subconscious mind accepts them as truth. Speak them until you begin to walk with an authority you have never known. Faith is not timid. Faith is bold. Faith does not beg, it receives. When you say, I rasi iv nawo, you are announcing to heaven and earth that you are ready for what Spirit has already prepared. Do not say these words casually. Say them like a decree from a king or queen, because in spirit you are royalty. The Bible says you are a joint heir with Christ, which means everything God has is already yours. The issue is not God's willingness, it is your readiness to believe and receive. And your readiness is proven by your words. Now, I want you to take action. For the next 30 days, speak I rasi iv underdo every time you feel tempted to speak fear. Replace every negative statement with faith. If you are about to say, I can't afford this, stop and say, I rasi iv nanabo. If you are about to say, I'm not lucky, stop and say, I resi iv no bo. Speak it over your health, arresti no. Speak it over your family, your business, your dreams. This phrase is not limited to one area of life. It is the key to unlocking everything. And do not simply speak these words without feeling them. Visualization is part of your faith. See yourself already blessed as you say them. See yourself free of debt, walking in peace, overflowing with wealth, blessing others generously. Feel gratitude as if it has already happened. The universe responds to vibration, and gratitude is the highest frequency of all. Understand this truth: miracles are not rare accidents. They are the natural outcome of a mind and mouth aligned with spirit. People who live in lack are not cursed. They are simply speaking curses over themselves every day. People who live in abundance are not lucky. They are intentional. They speak life, they declare truth, and they refuse to contradict their words with fear. You can make the same choice today. Do not wait for everything to look perfect before you start speaking faith. If you wait until you feel rich to say, I am supplied, you will never say it. You must declare it while your bank account is empty, while circumstances seem against you, while fear tells you it is foolish. Because faith is not faith if it only speaks when evidence is visible. Faith speaks when there is no evidence, and that very act of speaking creates the evidence. So here is your assignment. Say I rasi iv nw at least 50 times a day for the next 7 days. Write it down, post it around your home, and make it your new language. Speak it as you drive, as you walk, as you cook, as you work. Speak it in private and in public. And then watch closely. Watch how your energy shifts. Watch how people treat you differently. Watch how opportunities begin to flow. Watch how doors open. This is not about the lottery, this is about your consciousness. A winning ticket is just one of many ways Spirit can bless you. When you step into the flow of abundance, you will find that provision comes from every direction, often faster than you expected. The numbers may surprise you, but the principle is exact. Your faith-filled words are what create the miracle. So take that ticket, that wallet, or even that single coin in your pocket, and declare boldly, I rasi iv nabu. Say it as if heaven itself has already signed the blessing over to you, because it has. Your words are your proof, your vibration is your magnet, and your faith is the open door. Speak it now, believe it now, receive it now, and prepare yourself to become a living testimony of what happens when a person dares to speak truth and stand on spiritual law. You have the power. Use it today. As we come to the close of this message, I want you to pause and let this truth settle deep within your heart. You are not a victim of chance, and you are not at the mercy of fate. You are a creator, made in the image of the Creator himself, and your words carry divine weight. They are not whispers lost in the wind, they are spiritual decrees that reshape reality. The life you desire is not a distant dream, it already exists in spirit, fully formed, waiting for your faith-filled words to call it forth. Right now, I want you to lift your head and realize that you are standing on holy ground. Wherever you are listening to this, whether in your room, in your car, or sitting quietly with your thoughts, the Spirit of God is here. His presence surrounds you like light, filling your heart with peace, filling your mind with clarity, and filling your spirit with power. That light is shining on every area of your life that has felt dark. It is healing what was broken, supplying what was lacking, and making a way where there seemed to be none. You are not waiting for your miracle to come. Your miracle has been waiting for you to believe. You are not praying for something to appear. It has already been spoken over your life by divine decree. God said, "Before you call, I will answer." The supply is already here, and your words are the bridge that carries it from the invisible into the visible. So I speak over you now with the authority of faith. Let every word of lack you have ever spoken be cancelled in this moment. Let every curse you unknowingly placed on yourself be reversed by grace. Let the seeds of doubt be uprooted from your mind, and let your heart be filled with new courage, new faith, and new expectation. You are stepping into a season of alignment where everything you need flows easily. You will not have to beg or strive, because God's abundance is not earned, it is inherited. Repeat this with me now. I Rasiv Nabu. Say it again with boldness. I Rahiv Nabo. And as you speak those words, feel the shift happening within you. You are moving out of fear into faith, out of waiting into receiving, out of striving into peace. Heaven is responding to your words, angels are moving on your behalf, and blessings are rushing toward you like waves to the shore. I see doors opening that you thought were closed forever. I see opportunities finding you without effort. I see debts canceled and finances restored. I see relationships healed and health renewed. You will look back and say, "I don't know how it happened so fast," but deep down, you will know it was the moment you chose to speak faith and align with Spirit. Your voice is your wand, and you hold it now. Use it to bless, not curse. Use it to declare, not doubt. Use it to create a life that reflects God's love and provision. When fear whispers, shout faith. When lack tries to intimidate you, declare abundance. When sickness tries to speak, proclaim health. Do not wait for the evidence, create the evidence with your words. This is your inheritance. This is your authority. I bless you now with the peace that surpasses all understanding. I bless you with divine wisdom to see opportunities clearly and act boldly. I bless your home, your work, your finances, and your relationships. May every area of your life align with the vibration of these three words. I Rasi Evi Nabo. May they echo in your mind when you wake, resound in your heart when you rest, and become the melody of your days until blessings overflow and miracles become your norm. Your future is not built by luck, it is built by law. And today, you are in alignment with that law. Say these words as often as you breathe, and watch how quickly your world transforms. What was once delayed will be delivered. What was once withheld will be released. What was once impossible will become your testimony. So rise up now. Hold your lottery ticket, your wallet, your dreams, whatever symbolizes what you desire, and say with all authority, I Rasa Ivanao, you are not waiting anymore. You are walking in the reality of your faith. Doors are opening. Provision is flowing. Miracles are happening. And as you keep speaking life, your life will become a masterpiece of God's abundance. Walk boldly, live gratefully, speak faithfully, and from this day forward, watch what happens. Spirit will move mountains to prove that your faith is not in vain. You will see blessings come from unexpected places, opportunities appear when you least expect them, and favor surround you like a shield. Say it one more time, with all the strength in your soul, I Rasi Nabu, it is done, it is finished, and it is yours.
Effort without faith is like planting seeds in barren soil. You can dig the ground, scatter the seeds, and water them day after day, yet nothing will grow because the life-giving power is missing. Many people today live this way, working tirelessly, chasing opportunity after opportunity, and exhausting themselves, only to feel as if life is slipping through their fingers. They hustle harder, thinking that if they just push a little more, sacrifice a little longer, or grind a little faster, their breakthrough will come. But I tell you this, no amount of human effort can accomplish what faith can do in a moment. You can work yourself into the ground, yet without faith, all your striving will feel like a door that never opens. We live in a world that glorifies effort, that praises those who never rest, that tells you to wake up earlier, stay up later, and do more. Yet, how many people who follow that path still feel stuck, broke, or spiritually empty? That is because they are fighting battles in the natural world without tapping into the spiritual law that governs everything. They believe that life is a game of sheer willpower, but they have forgotten that willpower without alignment is powerless. True power comes not from frantic action, but from faith. Faith in divine supply, faith in spiritual law. Faith that what you desire is already yours. You see, there is a spiritual principle that says, "It is done unto you as you believe." Not as you strive, not as you struggle, but as you believe. Life is not moved by desperation, it is moved by certainty. The reason faith works faster than effort is because faith aligns you with the infinite intelligence of God. Faith speaks directly to the unseen forces of the universe and commands them to respond. When you live by faith, you are no longer begging for your blessings. You are claiming what is already yours by divine right. Effort alone can be exhausting, like trying to row a boat against the current. Faith is like raising your sail and allowing the wind of spirit to carry you swiftly to your destination. When you have faith, life becomes a flow instead of a fight. Suddenly, opportunities that once seemed impossible begin to appear. Doors that were closed swing open effortlessly. People and resources show up at the perfect time. This is not coincidence. It is law. Faith is the spiritual law that makes miracles look natural. So why are so many still trapped in the cycle of endless effort? Because they believe that control comes from their own hands, that success depends on their own strength. They think the harder they push, the faster they will get ahead. But I tell you, the opposite is true. The moment you release fear and lean into faith, you will accomplish more in a day than years of toil could produce. The world teaches that sweat is the currency of success. Heaven teaches that belief is the currency of miracles. I want you to stop and think about your life right now. Where are you striving, pushing, and exhausting yourself? Where do you feel resistance? That is the very area where faith must replace force. Speak life over that situation. Declare, "I now stand in perfect alignment with divine law. All that is mine by divine right now comes to me quickly, easily, and under grace." Say it with conviction, and watch the energy around you shift. Faith is not passive, it is power in action. This is why faith works faster than effort. Because faith calls upon the infinite, while effort relies only on the finite. If you are ready to stop striving and start flowing, if you are ready to see your desires manifest with speed and grace, stay with me. What you are about to learn will change how you see work, success, and miracles forever. Faith is not a wish. Faith is not a fragile hope whispered into the night. Faith is your spiritual currency, the wealth of heaven placed in your hands to create the life you desire. Most people do not understand this. They treat faith like a lottery ticket, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they will be chosen for a miracle. But faith is not chance, faith is law. Just as surely as 2 + 2 = 4, faith spoken with conviction will always create results. When I say faith is your currency, I mean it is the power you spend in the spiritual realm to draw forth what you desire into the physical realm. It is the divine transaction that makes the unseen seen. The universe does not respond to panic. It does not rush to rescue those who vibrate with fear and desperation, no matter how loudly they cry. Spirit does not answer chaos, it answers certainty. Think of a radio. If you want to hear music, you must tune the dial to the right frequency. Screaming at the radio will not bring in the station you want. Only alignment will. In the same way, if your soul is vibrating at fear, you cannot receive abundance, because fear is not the frequency of supply. Faith is the frequency of manifestation. Faith is the tone that calls forth miracles, like a magnet pulling metal. Many people are working hard, praying hard, but still missing this truth. They pray as if God is far away, as if He might withhold blessings, unless they prove themselves worthy through suffering. That is not faith. That is fear disguised as devotion. True faith is bold. True faith says, I am a child of the Most High, and all that is mine by divine right comes to me now. True faith does not beg, it declares. It knows. It stands unmoved when storms rage, because it understands that spiritual law is not swayed by appearances. Let me tell you something that will change your life. The world you see around you is not as solid as you think. Every building, every road, every fortune, every success was once only an idea in someone's mind. Faith is what took that idea from the unseen and gave it form. Faith is the creative force behind everything you admire. The clothes you wear, the home you live in, the car you drive, all of it was once invisible, and faith brought it forth. If this law works for others, it will work for you. Spirit is no respecter of persons. The law responds not to who you are, but to what you believe. Some of you are rich in effort, but bankrupt in faith. You work tirelessly, but you have not invested in belief. Your mind rehearses failure, while your hands labor for success. That is why the results come slowly. Your effort may be good seed, but your faith is the fertile soil. Without the soil, the seed cannot grow. Your words are the water. Your gratitude is the sunlight. When these are in harmony, life blooms quickly, beautifully, and abundantly. You must begin to see your faith as a spiritual bank account. Every thought of certainty is a deposit. Every word spoken in fear is a withdrawal. Speak life, and your account overflows. Declare abundance, and heaven responds. The universe cannot deny faith, because faith is alignment with divine mind. You are not trying to convince God to bless you. God has already said yes. Faith is simply tuning your heart to hear that yes and receive what has been waiting for you all along. Once you truly understand that faith is currency, you will stop living like a beggar and start living like an heir. You will walk into every situation knowing that the wealth of heaven is backing you. The moment you believe this, miracles stop being rare events and become your daily reality. This is why I say to you now, stop spending fear. Stop spending worry. Start spending faith. Invest in the unseen, and you will see the evidence manifest so quickly it will take your breath away. Faith is not optional, it is the key to everything. Effort has its place. It is good to work, to be diligent, to use your talents and hands to create. But hear me when I say this: effort alone is limited. You can push your body to exhaustion, labor day and night, and still feel as if nothing is moving. Why? Because physical effort moves your hands, but faith moves the universe. The unseen power of faith can do in a moment what years of struggle cannot accomplish. When you learn this truth, life changes. Suddenly, you are no longer a prisoner of endless striving. You become a master of spiritual alignment. There is a heaviness that comes from working without faith. It feels like climbing a mountain with no summit in sight. Many people are trapped in this cycle, thinking that if they just work harder, God will finally notice their sacrifice. But God does not need your suffering to bless you. Spirit responds to your belief, not your burnout. Labor without faith is like rowing a boat with broken oars. You are expending energy, but you are not getting anywhere. Faith is the wind that fills your sail. Faith is what turns your small efforts into supernatural results. Think of the farmer. He tills the ground, plants the seed, and waters the soil. But he does not force the seed to grow. He trusts that the sun will shine, the rain will fall, and the invisible life within that seed will break through the earth in its perfect timing. His hands do the work, but it is faith that makes him patient. He knows that no amount of effort can rush the harvest, but his belief ensures that it comes. In the same way, your faith is the invisible life, force behind every action you take. Without it, your effort feels empty. With it, your effort becomes powerful. I once spoke with a man who had been working 3 jobs, exhausted and bitter, trying to pay off his debts. He said to me, "Mrs. Shinn, I don't understand. I am working harder than ever, but I feel like I'm sinking deeper." I told him, "You are leaning on your own strength and leaving God out of your affairs. You are relying only on your hands, but your faith is idle. You must call forth what is yours by divine right." I gave him affirmations to speak daily. I am fully supplied with everything I need, here and now. Divine supply is my inheritance. He began to repeat these words, and something shifted. Within a few weeks, unexpected opportunities came, debts were forgiven, and his financial situation changed. Not because he worked harder, but because faith opened a door effort could not unlock. When you rely only on your effort, life feels like an uphill battle. But when you partner with faith, life begins to carry you. Faith breaks barriers that physical effort cannot even touch. Faith reaches into places your hands will never go. Faith rearranges circumstances, softens hearts, and makes a way where there is none. Your job is to show up and do your part. Yes, but to do it anchored in the unshakable, knowing that Spirit is working behind the scenes. Many are weary today, not because they are doing too much, but because they are doing it without faith. Faith is the oil that keeps the wheels of life turning smoothly. Without it, every step feels like dragging a heavy load. But when faith is alive, even hard work feels light, because you know you are not working alone. You are moving with the current of divine power. I urge you to pause and ask yourself, am I working harder, or am I believing stronger? The truth is, faith is not meant to replace action. It is meant to supercharge it. Faith turns ordinary steps into extraordinary results. The person who works without faith may reach their goal eventually, But the one who walks in faith sees doors open effortlessly, resources flow easily, and miracles manifest daily. This is why I say with all certainty effort has its limits, but faith knows no barriers. Faith is infinite. Faith is your bridge from the seen to the unseen, and once you embrace it, life will no longer feel like a burden. It will feel like a blessing unfolding. Let me tell you a story that will open your heart to the power of faith. Years ago, a woman came to me in utter despair. She was buried in debt, weighed down by fear, and exhausted from working long hours just to stay afloat. Her eyes were tired, and her voice trembled as she said, "Mrs. Shinn, I've done everything I can. I've cut expenses. I've begged my creditors for more time. I've taken every extra job I can find, but it feels like I'm drowning. What else can I possibly do?" I looked at her and said gently, "You have done everything, but the most important thing, you have not turned your debt over to God." She blinked at me, confused. "What do you mean?" she asked. I said, "You are trying to carry the whole burden yourself. You believe that your hands, your effort, and your struggle are the only ways to solve this. But what you are facing is bigger than you, and it requires something greater than you. It requires faith. Divine law is not moved by fear, but it is activated by your belief." She stared at me with tears in her eyes, and I knew she was ready to try a new way. So I gave her an affirmation. There is no debt in divine mind. What God has for me now comes to me with speed and ease under grace. My supply is endless, inexhaustible, and immediate. I told her to repeat these words daily, to speak them as if they were already true, and most importantly, to release her fear and start expecting unexpected good. At first, she struggled. Her mind would whisper, "This is silly. Words can't erase bills." But she kept repeating the affirmation anyway. She wrote it on slips of paper and placed them around her house. She said it while she worked. She said it while she cooked dinner. She said it when she felt panic rise in her chest, and something miraculous began to happen. She noticed a shift in her spirit. She began to feel peace instead of fear. She began to expect help instead of despairing. She was aligning herself with divine law, and divine law always responds. One morning, she called me in shock. "You won't believe what happened," she said. "A distant relative I hadn't spoken to in years passed away and left me a small inheritance. It's not just enough to pay my bills. It's enough to clear all my debt and start fresh." Tears of gratitude filled her voice. "Mrs. Shinn, I thought I'd be trapped forever, but this came out of nowhere." I smiled and said, "It didn't come out of nowhere. It came from the invisible supply that is always there, waiting for your faith to call it forth." This woman had worked herself to exhaustion, but nothing changed until she changed her belief. The moment she aligned her words and her thoughts with God's abundance, the universe rearranged circumstances in her favor. That is the power of faith. Friends, this story is not rare. It is a picture of what happens when you trust God more than your fear. You see, your situation may look hopeless, but faith does not rely on appearances. Faith sees beyond the bills, the reports, and the empty accounts. Faith sees the overflowing storehouses of divine mind and claims them as reality. When you speak faith, the Spirit begins to move people, events, and resources to meet your needs in ways you could never plan. That is why faith works faster than effort. This woman didn't receive a miracle because she begged harder. She received it because she believed stronger. And so can you. Release your panic, speak your truth, and expect the unexpected. Heaven is not slow, but it will not override your disbelief. The moment you align with faith, doors will open so swiftly, you will know it was God Himself who moved on your behalf. Many people live their lives as if they are at the mercy of chance. They say, if I'm lucky, things will work out. Or, maybe one day my break will come. But I tell you today, your life is not a gamble. You are not at the mercy of luck. You are governed by law, spiritual law, divine law, the law that says, "It is done unto you as you believe." This is not poetry, this is a principle that works as reliably as gravity. You cannot see gravity, but you trust it every time your feet touch the ground. In the same way, faith is invisible, yet it pulls into your life exactly what you believe, like a magnet drawing iron. Once you understand this, you will stop living like a victim of random chance. There are no accidents in spirit. There is alignment, there is timing, there is belief. Faith is not hoping God might notice you. It is knowing God has already supplied everything you could ever need. What you see as a miracle is often just spiritual law working perfectly because you finally aligned with it. That is why some people seem to get lucky. Often, it is not luck at all, but their belief creating an open door. Faith is the blueprint of your reality. Whatever you build in your heart and speak with conviction will eventually show up in your life. If your belief is small, your results are small. If your belief is bold, your blessings are bold. Life is not withholding from you. It is reflecting you. That is why you must choose your words carefully. Every complaint, every fear, every "I can't" is a seed planted in your future, and every affirmation of faith is also a seed, one that grows faster and stronger, because spirit moves on belief. I once counseled a man who had been searching for work for months. He came to me feeling defeated. "Mrs. Shinn," he said, "I've applied to every job I can find. I've done everything I know how to do, but it feels like no one sees me." I told him, "It is not that no one sees you. It is that you do not see yourself as already employed. You are sending out a vibration of desperation instead of certainty." I taught him to affirm, "The perfect position is already mine. I see myself in it, I walk in it, I give thanks for it now." Within 2 weeks, he received an offer for a position far better than anything he had applied for. That was not luck. That was faith. Faith is like electricity. It is always present, but you must flip the switch to see its power. You cannot say, "I'll believe it when I see it," because that is not faith, that is doubt. Faith says, "I believe it, so I will see it." The moment you shift your belief, your reality begins to bend toward it. You may not see results overnight, but the law is already working, rearranging everything in your favor. This is why I urge you, stop gambling with life as if blessings are a rare prize you must earn. You are not begging God to bless you. You are learning to believe so deeply that His blessings have no choice but to appear. Faith is not superstition, it is spiritual science. It works every time, for every person who dares to believe. You are holding the magnet that draws every good thing you desire. Strengthen your belief, and you will see that nothing is impossible. Now that you understand faith is not a gamble but a law, let me show you how to use this law to change your life. Because spiritual truth is not meant to be admired, it is meant to be applied. If you do not put this law into action, it will remain only words. And I want you to see proof. I want you to see results. I want you to see your desires manifest so clearly that you never again doubt the power of faith. The first step is this: speak what you desire as if it is already yours. Stop describing life as it is, and start declaring life as it will be. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you are planting something in your future. So many people curse their own lives without realizing it, saying things like, "I can't afford this," or "I'm always unlucky," or "Nothing ever works for me." And then they are surprised when their words come true. You must reverse that pattern. You must speak faith. If you want wealth, begin saying, "I am divinely prospered. Money flows to me easily, abundantly, and under grace." If you want health, declare, "I am whole, strong, and radiant with the life of God." If you want love, speak, "I am surrounded by love, and the perfect relationships are drawn to me now." Speak these things with certainty, because your words are the blueprint for your reality. The second step is stop striving and start declaring. Most people exhaust themselves trying to figure out every detail of how their desires will come. They plan, they overthink, they worry, and they call it preparation. But it is fear wearing the mask of responsibility. Spiritual law does not require you to figure out how. It only requires you to believe that it is done. Your job is not to push doors open by force, but to declare them open with faith. Every morning, stand up and declare, "Every door that belongs to me is open now. Every opportunity that is mine comes with speed and ease. I walk in favor and abundance today." When you declare with conviction, you set powerful forces into motion. The third step is to use affirmations to reprogram your mind. The mind is like a garden. If you do not plant it with truth, weeds of fear and doubt will take over. An affirmation is a spiritual command, a decree from the throne of your spirit. One of my favorite affirmations, which I have seen change countless lives, is this: "All that is mine by divine right now comes to me quickly, easily, and under grace in perfect ways." Say it daily, say it with faith, and watch as unexpected blessings begin to appear. This affirmation is not a request, it is a declaration. It is you aligning your heart with God's perfect plan. Here is something you must understand: faith is not passive. Faith is not sitting quietly, hoping something good will happen. Faith is bold. Faith speaks. Faith acts as if the promise is already fulfilled. When you pray, pray with thanksgiving, not desperation. When you affirm, speak with authority, not hesitation. You are not a beggar before God. You are His child, and His riches are your inheritance. If you will take these steps daily, speak as if it is done, declare instead of striving, and fill your mind with affirmations, you will begin to see your world shift. Doors will open without effort. People will show up at the right time. Opportunities will chase you instead of you chasing them. This is not coincidence. This is law. Once you activate your faith, life begins to work for you instead of against you. So I challenge you, for the next 7 days, speak only words of faith over your life. Declare boldly. Affirm without fear. Act as if your prayers are already answered. In 7 days, you will see a difference. And in time, you will look back and realize that faith has carried you further than effort ever could. This is how you activate the law of faith. It is not complicated, but it is powerful. Are you trusting your own strength, or are you allowing Spirit to move through you? This is the question that determines whether your life will feel like a constant uphill struggle or a miraculous flow. Many of you listening today have been carrying burdens far too heavy for human shoulders. You are tired, you are striving, and yet the breakthrough feels distant. My dear friend, Spirit never intended for you to live this way. You are not meant to fight for your blessings. You are meant to receive them. Faith is the bridge from where you are to where God has already prepared for you to be. Let this message sink deep. Your effort is not the problem, but your reliance on effort alone is. Yes, work diligently. Yes, use wisdom and take action. But never forget that your strength is limited, while Spirit's strength is infinite. You cannot outwork fear. You must outfaith it. You cannot outplan lack. You must outbelieve it. The law of life is not, "It is done unto you as you try harder." It is done unto you as you believe. If you truly believed that everything you need is already waiting for you, would you still panic? Would you still rush, worry, and exhaust yourself? Or would you begin to rest in the knowing that Spirit has gone before you to prepare your way? This is the shift that changes everything. The moment you stop striving and start trusting, your entire energy changes. Opportunities notice you, favor finds you, miracles feel normal. Faith opens doors that human effort could knock on for years without an answer. And that is why I am challenging you right now. Release the struggle. Lay down the constant fear. Say these words with me. I no longer live by fear and striving. I live by faith, and I trust Spirit to make a way. Say it until it becomes your truth, until your heart knows it is done. I have seen lives transformed overnight by this simple decision to trust God fully. I have seen debts erased, sickness vanish, relationships restored, and opportunities multiply, not because people worked themselves into exhaustion, but because they aligned themselves with the law of faith. What you are facing right now may seem impossible. The bills may be piling up. The job may seem out of reach. The healing may feel delayed. But faith is not shaken by appearances. Faith knows that Spirit is always working, even when you cannot see it. Your job is to believe, to speak life, and to walk as if it is already done. If you take nothing else from this message, take this: your life will always rise or fall to the level of your faith. Faith is not weakness. Faith is strength. It takes courage to trust God more than your circumstances. It takes boldness to declare abundance when your bank account is empty, to speak health when the doctor's report is grim, to walk forward when the road is unclear. But this is the courage that shifts mountains. This is the courage that makes miracles your reality. So today, I invite you to step out of fear and into faith. Stop waiting for life to get easier before you believe. Believe now and watch life get easier. Trust now and watch the doors open. The Spirit of God is not slow, and it is not withholding. It is waiting for your yes, your faith, your declaration. Decide today to trust Him completely, and your life will become a testimony of what faith can do. From this day forward, refuse to live by striving. Begin to live by trust. Speak boldly, walk fearlessly, and expect the impossible. Your miracle is closer than you think, and faith is the key that will unlock it. Let this be your new normal, a life so full of faith that blessings have no choice but to find you.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into some really profound teachings. They touch on something deeply personal and, honestly, often a source of quiet anxiety for so many of us: money, abundance, and our intrinsic sense of worth. We're exploring the timeless spiritual principles of Florence Scovel Shinn. She was a true pioneer, offering this radical yet incredibly comforting perspective on how our inner world truly shapes our financial reality. And in our modern world, where financial anxiety, burnout, struggles with self-worth, they feel more prevalent than ever, right? Her wisdom feels like such a breath of fresh air. It's about so much more than just numbers on a screen. It's really about reclaiming a deeper sense of peace and power in this really crucial area of our lives.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here is how Shin illuminates that our relationship with money,
Mm-hmm.
it isn't just about practical management,
Hmm.
or economic theories. It's a spiritual exchange. It's like a dance between our inner convictions and what shows up in the visible world.
A dance. I like that.
Exactly. And she radically challenges that conventional wisdom that says money is like neutral or separate from spirit,
Yeah.
or that it's only earned through grinding, through toil and struggle. Instead, she teaches that money is alive. It's a servant of divine law. And it's perfectly obedient to the tone of your heart and the unwavering rhythm of your word.
Wow.
It's about shifting from seeing money as this source of stress to understanding its true divine nature and, well, reclaiming your agency.
So what does this actually mean for you listening? Maybe for someone feeling, overwhelmed by bills or just that nagging sense of not enough. Today we're going to explore how shifting your perspective on money, moving from that place of fear and lack to one of, let's say, sacred understanding and conscious declaration, how that can truly transform your experience of abundance. Think of this as a journey into reclaiming your inherent power in the realm of your finances, moving from feeling like a victim of circumstance to being a conscious, empowered co-creator.
Okay, so let's truly unpack this foundational idea. Shin's core teaching, it posits that money isn't just a dead, inanimate thing.
Right, not just paper or coin.
Exactly. It is living energy. It's divine substance, but in visible form. She puts it beautifully. God's invisible supply made manifest.
It might sound a bit abstract at first, but maybe think of it this way. Just like water can be vapor or ice or liquid,
Uh-huh.
divine substance can show up as health or ideas or opportunities or money. So there's no inherent conflict between money and spirit. The conflict really, it arises from our ignorance of this spiritual truth. The sources are really clear. The same divine source that gives you life and breath holds absolutely nothing back from your daily needs.
And this, I think, is where so many of us have been taught to struggle, haven't we? It directly challenges that common belief that money is somehow, dirty or evil or purely carnal, like a necessary evil at best.
The great deception, as Shinn calls it, is thinking money belongs only to man, created just by governments, or earned only through relentless toil and struggle. It's such a radical paradigm shift from seeing money as something outside of us, something we have to chase or claw for,
Right.
to something deeply connected to our spiritual essence, our divine inheritance. It's not about what the world often says. It's about what divine law declares.
Precisely. And in this framework, money, it acts like a mirror.
Yeah.
It perfectly reflects your beliefs, your vibration, your consciousness.
A mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you consistently dwell on lack, it literally, it dries up for you.
Yeah.
If you carry unconscious guilt around having it, it kind of withholds itself.
Yeah.
But if you begin to see it as divine substance, as you speak to it as a child of the infinite source, it starts moving toward you. In increasing waves, it's drawn to peace, magnetized by confidence. But it's repelled by resentment or fear. Your inner state, your inner world, directly dictates your outer financial flow.
That makes sense.
It's an immutable principle, like gravity, really.
That idea of money being a mirror reflecting our beliefs is so powerful. But, for someone who feels really deeply stuck in a cycle of lack, it might be incredibly hard to believe their inner state is causing it.
That's such a crucial point, yes.
What does Shinn offer for those moments when the mirror seems to reflect only scarcity? How do we even begin to shift that reflection?
Right, and Shin totally understood that.
Hmm.
She knew our current reality is often a manifestation of past unconscious beliefs. We didn't necessarily choose them consciously. So to help us understand how to consciously shift that, she offers this really profound analogy. Your inner kingdom.
Okay.
Imagine your true self, your spirit, your divine consciousness. Imagine that as the queen of this kingdom. And her job, is actually quite simple yet incredibly powerful. Decide what she desires, feel it as if it's already real, and then speak it into being.
Feel it first.
Feel it first, yes. This queen is the sovereign voice of abundance within you, the part of you that has dominion.
Okay, so there's the queen. Then what?
Then there's your subconscious mind. Shinn brilliantly describes it as the loyal and powerful prime minister of this kingdom.
The prime minister. I like that analogy.
It's great, isn't it? And it's completely neutral. No opinions, no sense of humor, no judgment whatsoever. Its only function is to listen to the queen's every decree spoken and, crucially, unspoken, and then mobilize the entire kingdom, all its resources, to make it so.
Wow, so it doesn't question.
It doesn't question, it simply obeys. It's the ultimate implementer, always listening.
Okay, so queen, prime minister, where does money fit in?
Money, then, is simply one of the kingdom's many resources. Think of it as a loyal emissary that goes precisely where your prime minister sends it. It responds not to your labor or your worry, not to external conditions or market fluctuations, but to the deep rhythm of your core belief and the unwavering command of your word, which is the voice of the queen. It's always listening, always ready to serve, acting purely on instruction.
So when you hold $1 and sigh, maybe thinking there's never enough, your prime minister just hears never enough and creates more experiences of scarcity. Wow. Or when you feel that like phantom pain of depletion spending money on groceries. It hears spending is loss. And when you habitually say, I'm always struggling, it mobilizes the entire kingdom to create more struggle.
That's the mechanism.
Yeah.
It reveals this profound truth. You are already a master creator.
Yeah.
The critical question is, what have you unconsciously been creating? It's like you've been flipping a light switch unknowingly to darkness, then bumping around in the gloom, wondering why you can't see.
You know, the idea that every time we even touch money, we're issuing a command, even silently, that really shifts my perspective. It makes me wonder, gosh, what have I unconsciously been commanding all this time?
It makes you think, right?
Yeah. And here's where it gets really interesting for me. Shinn teaches that every single time you handle money, you speak. Even if your mouth is silent. Your vibration, your energy issues a command. And most people, maybe unconsciously, touch money in fear, hold it with hesitation, spend it with dread.
Dread is a big one.
Yeah. They literally speak lack while holding supply. They declare emptiness while touching physical proof of the infinite. No wonder money seems to, well, flee.
That's the absolute crux of it. Money does not respond to sheer effort or endless toil. It responds to energy. It responds to blessing, to clear command, to unwavering certainty.
Certainty, not hope.
Certainty, and this means silence is not neutral here. In the realm of this divine law, silence often means submission. Submission to the old fear-based narrative. When you say nothing, the world, or maybe more accurately, your old subconscious program just inserts fear, confusion, or lack. It fills the void.
Right.
But when you consciously speak with rhythm and truth, money must obey. Because of this immutable spiritual law, the law doesn't care how long you've struggled or how many times you've cried. It responds purely to the spoken word of truth right now.
Wow. Shinn emphasizes we have to treat every money moment as sacred, like an opportunity for demonstration, like standing at a spiritual altar. Your word in that moment, whether spoken aloud or just held in your heart with conviction, it either multiplies or diminishes your future supply.
Yeah. It's about consciously engaging with every single transaction, every dollar you touch, making it intentional.
Absolutely. And consider this profound declaration from Shinn's teachings. And remember, this isn't just pretty poetry. She presents it as a statement of law. Divine substance cannot be depleted. I bless this money and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways.
Under grace in perfect ways. I love that ending.
It's beautiful, isn't it? And the point is, it doesn't matter how much money you physically have right now. What truly matters is how you speak to it, how you relate to it, what energy you infuse into it. Money is like water, remember. It flows abundantly where it's welcomed and blessed, but it can evaporate or become stagnant where it's cursed or held with resentment.
Cursed. Yeah, complaining about it is like cursing it.
It really is. It's drawn to peace and magnetized by confidence, but repelled by resentment.
It reminds me of that classic Shinn anecdote, you know, the woman with only $2.
Oh, yes. Powerful story. Instead of lamenting her lack, she blessed them. Declared with this profound conviction, this is God's money. It is spiritual substance. It cannot be depleted. I bless it and see it multiply under grace in perfect ways. And within a week, wasn't it, $6,000 came to her from a completely unimagined channel.
That's right. And the key is the words didn't magically create the money out of thin air.
Right.
They released it because it was always there, energetically waiting for her vibration to rise, waiting for her word to give it permission to manifest.
So the money wasn't far away.
No, it was just out of tune with her frequency, waiting for her conscious command.
That changes everything.
It does. The law doesn't respond to begging or wishing or hoping. It responds to absolute certainty. Your word, your conscious declaration, that's your tuning fork. Your decree is your alignment.
Okay.
So stop asking where the money is. Instead, start declaring, money is here. Money is ready. Money now multiplies under grace.
Okay.
And say it not like a desperate wish, but as a truth already in motion.
It's already done.
Exactly. Think of it like a conductor bringing an orchestra to life. The music isn't created on the spot. It's released through that precise command, just like in Scripture, right? Jesus gave thanks and broke the loaves and fishes, and in that act of thanksgiving and confident release, the increase came.
This is about calling those things which be not as though they were, as Scripture beautifully declares.
Precisely.
It's about creating your riches first in word, in consciousness, and then walking in that word until it naturally becomes tangible form. Your sentence, your conscious declaration, it truly is your spiritual mold.
You're building not with bricks, but with words. Not with rigid budgets alone, but with expansive belief.
This raises a really important question then for each of us listening. What have you been speaking over your money? Maybe unconsciously.
Yeah, that's the homework, isn't it?
Totally. Every idle sentence spoken against your supply becomes like a gate slammed shut. Phrases like, oh, I can't afford that, or I'm always broke. According to Shinn, you're not just describing a condition.
You're creating it.
Yeah.
Actively.
Wow. Your subconscious mind records every single word as instruction. Even if you speak it lightly or habitually, even if you think you're just joking.
It doesn't know when you're joking. It only knows vibration, tone, energy. If you joke about being broke, your subconscious might just, remove money to match that energy you're putting out.
Okay, that's sobering. Now let's talk about maybe the most common point of anxiety around money. Paying bills.
Payments.
Yes. The big one for many.
Most people, myself included sometimes, believe they're losing something when they pay a bill, that they're being drained of their resources.
That contraction feeling.
Exactly. But Shinn says you're not spending money. You are circulating divine substance.
Circulating. Key word.
And what you circulate with joy and gratitude returns to you multiplied. It's a completely different perspective than that knot of anxiety that usually accompanies bill-paying time.
Absolutely. Payment is not depletion. It is, in fact, a spiritual transaction. It's powerful proof that you trust the source of all good to refill what you've just released.
Proof of trust. Yes. So never again speak fear over a payment or sigh when the rent or mortgage is due. Those reactions, they're like anti-blessings. And the law, being perfectly obedient, just responds by echoing that fear, and it can diminish your flow.
So your bills aren't burdens.
No, they are tests of trust. And when you speak truth and blessing into them, they transform from chains to channels, from drains to divine conduits.
Okay, so practically speaking, how do we shift this? Especially when those old habits, that sighing is so ingrained.
It takes practice for sure. Shinn advises us to handle our money like a priest handles the sacred cup, with reverence, with profound awareness.
Okay.
So when you pay for anything, whether it's a small coffee or a large bill, whisper aloud, or just in your heart, but with deep conviction, I pay this in joy, and it returns to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And feel the truth of that. Let it land in your body.
Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That's biblical, isn't it?
It is. It connects to that universal law. This is spiritual math in action. What you give in joy always returns with increase. What you release in fear or hesitation or regret, that delays its return.
Delays it.
And what you part with in genuine gratitude, that creates immediate, clear pathways for more to flow in. Circulation is a universal law of life. Stagnation is just the illusion of loss. Your bills become channels, portals, divine investments when you bless them. They become opportunities for you to affirm abundance, not lack.
Okay, that's powerful. Shifting from burden to opportunity.
Now there's another barrier. A barrier to abundance that can be even more dangerous than doubt or fear. and that's guilt.
Guilt.
Guilt about wealth itself, guilt about wanting more, or guilt about receiving while others seem to lack. This is, as Shinn reveals, the invisible thief of abundance.
The invisible thief.
Because even when the law is spoken correctly, even when you use all the right declarations, if there's that unconscious current of guilt in the heart, it will actively reject what the voice has commanded. It's like a subtle, venomous lie we often tell ourselves.
It truly is. So many of us carry these false beliefs, don't we? Whispers that say we're unworthy of riches, or that wanting money is selfish.
Or unspiritual.
Right, or that having more is somehow wrong. These are often just human interpretations of fear, but they get wrapped up in morality and shame.
It's that fixed pie mentality again, isn't it? That says your gain must be another's loss.
Which is completely contrary to how divine law operates.
Exactly. The divine source is infinite, not limited.
So what's the truth then, according to Shinn?
The truth, as she asserts, is that your wealth serves God and the greater good when you receive it in righteousness and use it with love. The law, the divine source, is absolutely not offended by your overflow. There's no scarcity in the divine mind, only in our human perception of it.
Okay.
When you receive abundance, you don't take from others. You simply align faster with universal law. You become a living example of that law and action. Your poverty doesn't make another person rich. In fact, your abundance, when it's used in love and circulated with joy, it blesses everyone it touches. It allows you to give more freely, to create opportunities, to be a living testimony of divine provision. Your wealth, seen this way, is actually a sacred service.
A sacred service. I love that reframing. So we have to consciously cleanse ourselves of this false humility, this self-imposed limitation.
We do. And Shinn offers powerful affirmations for this very purpose.
Like what?
She suggests declaring, "It is right for me to prosper. I use money in love, and money flows to me in peace." Feel the rightness of that.
It is right for me to prosper. That feels bold.
It is. And if that little whisper of shame still tries to creep in, saying, "Who were you to have more?" Answer it clearly and firmly. I am a child of the infinite source of all good. I inherit all good. I release all guilt and walk in divine grace.
Claiming your inheritance.
Exactly. You simply cannot speak multiplication while holding on to the contraction of guilt. You can't bless your money and then unconsciously hate yourself for having it.
They cancel each other out.
There are contradictions that will collapse any demonstration. But when you consciously choose to release guilt, you simultaneously release significant restriction in your financial flow. When you truly accept that your wealth, used purposefully, inherently blesses others, you open wider channels.
It makes sense.
Your desire for more isn't a flaw. It's the voice of life itself, seeking fuller, more expansive expression through you. Honor it. Your wealth truly is a sacred service.
Okay. So, with all this powerful truth, what are the practical daily steps? How do we embed these principles into our lives? Shinn offers these powerful rituals, right? Not just suggestions, but a way of living.
Yes, very practical. This isn't just theory, it's a living practice.
So what does that look like?
First, she outlines this profound threefold path for every financial transaction, no matter how small, every time money changes hands.
3 steps.
Okay, 1, the sacred pause. Before you pay for something, just pause.
Yeah.
Even for a single breath. And feel what might arise, that old story, maybe a knot in your stomach, tension in your shoulders, shallow breath. Just witness it. No judgment.
Just notice it.
Just notice. This pause creates a crucial gap between the stimulus, like paying, and the unconscious reaction, like fear or contraction. It lets you intercept an old, fear-based program before it runs automatically.
Like shining a spotlight on the habit.
Exactly. Making it conscious.
Yeah.
Giving you the power to choose a different response.
Yeah.
Okay, second step. 2, the divine reversal. In that pause, speak a new law, a new decree. When you're releasing money, say with conviction, aloud or in your heart, "This money is a seed of my infinite supply. It is divine substance that cannot be depleted. I release it with joy, and I command it to return to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over."
Command it.
Command it. And when you're receiving money, say, "I receive this as proof of God's limitless abundance. My world is now flooded with glorious supply. I am a divine channel, and my channels are clear, open, and overflowing. I give thanks." Again, it's a statement of truth.
Okay, pause. Reverse the story of the declaration. What's third?
3, the embodied knowing. After you speak, feel the truth of it. Allow your body to align with the words. Walk with your shoulders back. Feel genuine gratitude for what money provides you and others. Receive with a simple, open-hearted thank you. This aligns your body's vibration to your new decree. It seals the magic, anchors the truth into your very being.
Pause, reverse, embody. I
Un-
like that. It feels manageable.
It is. And next, Shinn emphasizes the sacred rhythm for the gates of your day.
The gates of the day.
Yeah, those crucial moments when your subconscious mind is most receptive, like when you're falling asleep or just waking up. The veil feels thinner then.
Ah, okay. Like priming the pump.
Exactly. It's about guarding these energetic gates with holy intention and conscious declaration.
So what does that look like? Evening first.
The evening blessing. Before you fall asleep, let this be your very last vibration, your final command to your subconscious for the night. I release all worry to the night. While I sleep, the law of increase is working for me, rearranging circumstances and opening unseen channels. I rest in perfect peace, knowing I will awaken to my overflowing good.
Wow, that's powerful. Instructing your subconscious to work for you while you sleep.
Yes, governing your dream state by truth, not by the anxieties of the day.
And then the morning.
Then the morning anointing. Upon waking, before anything else, before checking your phone.
Okay.
Greet your day with conscious law. Good morning, God. I declare that this day unexpected channels of abundance open to me. My supply is instant, constant, and lavish. I am divinely guided in all my ways, and I walk in a sea of financial peace. And as you say this, and maybe touch your wallet or your phone, anything that represents your finances, bless them, not out of duty, but out of dominion.
Setting the energetic keynote for the day, like tuning an instrument.
Precisely. Now, this whole process, it might feel strange at first, a little awkward maybe,
Yeah, probably.
and the outer world might not change dramatically overnight. But remember this. Any discomfort you feel, it's often a sign of success. Think of a sculptor chiseling marble. It looks like destruction initially, but it's actually revealing the masterpiece that was always within.
That's a great image.
Your job is just to keep watering the seed of your faith in your words. And most importantly, don't dig it up every 5 minutes to see if it's working.
Right. Trust the process.
Trust the process. The law is gathering substance in the invisible realm to fulfill your decree. Patience, rooted in certainty, is key.
This is so hopeful. You are not broken and you do not need to be fixed. You are a powerful creator, simply remembering the language of your own inner kingdom.
That's it, exactly.
The power isn't in the money itself. It is in the mind and the mouth that consciously directs it. It's like waking up from this amnesia of lack and reclaiming your inherent spiritual inheritance.
Beautifully put. You are no longer the victim of money or circumstance. You are the governor of it. Your supply is sure. Your word is law. And your wealth, visible and invisible, it's unfolding now, in this moment and in all the moments to come. This is your divine financial dominion.
So take this profound truth with you as you go about your day. Every dollar you touch, every payment you make, every time you speak about your finances, you are activating a powerful, immutable law. Use your words consciously. Use them to create, to bless, and to declare your divine inheritance. Let no financial moment pass without awareness, without conscious intention.
Let no transaction escape your powerful vibration.
Yes.
Let's end with this powerful declaration of foundational truth from Shinn. Maybe say it with us. Feel it. Money now comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. I walk in plenty. I speak in plenty. I live in the law of increase. My supply is sure. My word is law. And my wealth is unfolding even now.
Say it until the rhythm writes itself into your body, until your mind submits to the truth, until the outer world simply must obey.
Say it again and again with certainty.
You are not beneath money. You are not afraid of it. You are not confused by it. You now handle it as a priest handles the sacred, with truth, with power, with joy. We really hope this deep dive has given you some profound new tools, and maybe some peace, for transforming your financial reality. And for more insights into these powerful spiritual principles, please be sure to watch the related video. You can click on the end screen right here or find the link in the description below.
Beloved, I want you to hear me with your heart, not just your ears, because this truth will change the way you see yourself forever. There is a power resting on your tongue that could alter your entire life if you would dare to use it. The Bible declares, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue," and it does not say this lightly. It is not a poetic phrase, it is law. Every word that leaves your lips is a seed, and every seed brings forth a harvest. Some of you are living in fields of lack today, not because you are cursed, not because you are forgotten, but because of the words you have sown over time without even realizing it. You see, the world has taught women, especially women here in America, to hustle, to strive, to grind until they have nothing left to give. You've been taught to work harder, sleep less, worry more, and somehow prove yourself worthy of abundance. But God never designed life to work that way. He placed the answer in your mouth. And while you've been exhausting yourself trying to push open doors, heaven has been waiting for you to speak them open. Your voice is your wand, and with it, you are meant to call forth what already belongs to you. Look at your own life for a moment. How many times have you looked at a bill and sighed, "I'll never get ahead"? How often have you said to a friend, "I'm so broke," without realizing that your words are commanding your reality? You see, words are not just sounds, they are spiritual contracts. When you say, "I can't afford it," you have agreed with limitation. When you declare, "Nothing ever works out for me," you are giving fear permission to shape your future. But when you speak life, heaven itself bends to respond. The Bible says in Isaiah that God's word will not return void, but will accomplish what it was sent to do. And beloved, when you speak His promises over your life, you are sending out a force that cannot fail. I am telling you today that you are not powerless. The enemy wants you to believe you are small, that you have no say in your future, but that is a lie. You were created in the image of God, and the same Spirit that hovered over the waters in Genesis dwells in you. When God said, "Let there be light," light came forth. When Jesus said, "Peace, be still," the storm obeyed Him. And when you, His daughter, declare, "I am blessed, I am favored, I am rich in every way," those words carry divine authority. They are backed by heaven. Let me ask you something. What if your breakthrough is not delayed because of money, or connections, or opportunities, but because of silence? What if the miracle you've been praying for is hovering over your life, waiting for you to speak it into manifestation? God has already given you the promises. He is waiting for you to enforce them. You do not need to beg Him for what He has already declared yours. Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Not, "I might not want." Not, "If I am good enough, I won't want." But, "I shall not want." This is your inheritance, and it is time to claim it. So I challenge you today, open your mouth. Start speaking life over every area of your existence. Over your home, your children, your business, your health, and your finances. Say, "Every need is met. Every bill is paid. I walk in abundance." Even if your bank account seems empty, speak as if it is full, because faith is the evidence of things not seen. Speak as if God's promises are already done, because they are. The moment you declare His truth, angels are released to perform it. Beloved, your voice is more powerful than the stock market. Your words carry more weight than any economy. Heaven is not shaken by inflation, recession, or uncertainty, but it is moved by faith, and faith is released through your mouth. That is why I call your voice your wand. It is the tool by which you shape your life. Stop using it to build prisons. Stop using it to rehearse fear. Use it to paint a picture of your destiny. Speak until your heart believes, and then speak some more. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are at the mercy of your own confession. Proverbs tells us that a man's belly shall be filled with the fruit of his lips, and your life will be filled with whatever your lips continually declare. Choose today to speak abundance. Choose to create wealth with your words. Choose to plant seeds of faith that will bloom into miracles. Your mouth is the doorway to your future. Guard it, use it, and watch as heaven rearranges itself to match your decree. Beloved, I want to speak directly to every woman listening to me right now. The mothers carrying the weight of the household, the wives standing in the gap for their families, the single women building dreams with tears and grit, the daughters who feel like they've been overlooked or undervalued. You were created in the image of God. You are not a mistake. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of the world's economy. You are an heir to heaven's abundance, and it is time to take your financial power back. For too long, women have been told to settle, to shrink, to accept lack as if it were humility. But poverty is not humility, poverty is bondage. Jesus said in John 10:10, "I have come that they might have life, and have it more abundantly." Abundance is your birthright. You were not created to live in fear of bills, fear of rent, fear of the future. That fear is not from God. It is the enemy's tool to keep you silent and defeated. But the moment you begin to open your mouth and declare God's promises over your life, everything begins to shift. Look at the Proverbs 31 woman. She is not timid or fearful. She is bold, she is wise, she is wealthy. Scripture says she considers a field and buys it. She is a woman of vision and power. She knows her worth and uses her gifts to bring increase to her household. And do you know what that tells me, beloved? It tells me that God has always intended for women to walk in authority, not just spiritually, but financially. You were not made to be crushed under debt, to feel ashamed of money, or to rely solely on someone else for provision. You are a vessel of divine creativity, and what flows through you has the power to bless generations. Some of you listening to me right now feel trapped in survival mode. You're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, tired of scraping by, tired of feeling like there's never enough. And maybe, somewhere deep down, you've started to believe this is just how life is. But hear me, that is a lie from the pit of hell. Your Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He is not limited. His resources are not running out. He is not looking at the state of the economy and wringing his hands in worry. Heaven's economy is overflowing, and as his daughter, you have full access. But you must rise up and claim it. That is why I am calling on you today, women of faith, to open your mouth and take your financial authority. You cannot wait for someone else to hand it to you. You cannot wait for a job to define your worth. You cannot wait for the world to validate your dreams. The kingdom is voice activated. You must speak it. You must decree it. You must see yourself as heaven sees you, chosen, favored, and empowered. There is a reason the enemy attacks women so fiercely. He knows that when a woman steps into her God-given authority, everything changes. The atmosphere of her home shifts. Her children grow up with confidence. Her marriage is strengthened. Her business flourishes. Her ministry expands. A woman walking in financial freedom is a weapon against the enemy's plans. That is why fear has tried to silence you. That is why doubt has whispered in your ear that you'll never have enough. But the Word of God says otherwise. The Word says you are blessed going in and blessed coming out. The Word says whatever you put your hands to shall prosper. The Word says you are more than a conqueror. Beloved, hear me, this is not about greed, this is about destiny. Money in the hands of a righteous woman feeds families, builds schools, funds missions, and changes communities. Wealth is not wicked, it is a tool, and in your hands it becomes a weapon for good. God is not glorified by your struggle. He is glorified when you walk in His promises. When people look at your life and see His provision, they will ask, "How is she thriving when others are falling apart?" And you will have the opportunity to point them to Him. It's time to stop apologizing for wanting more. It's time to stop feeling guilty for desiring financial stability. God placed that desire in you because He knows what He wants to do through you. Stop agreeing with smallness. Stop saying, "This is just how it is." Break that agreement today. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and declare, "I am a daughter of the King. I am blessed, I am favored, and wealth flows to me for His glory." From this day forward, you will not live as a victim of the world's economy. You will live as a citizen of heaven's economy. You will call in opportunities. You will call in divine connections. You will call in the ideas that will change everything for your family. You are not waiting on permission. Heaven has already given you authority. Rise up and take your power back. The kingdom is waiting for your voice. Beloved, listen closely, because this is where so many of God's daughters are trapped without even realizing it. The enemy's greatest trick is not always stealing your money. It is convincing you to agree with lack. Every time you say, "I can't afford it," every time you whisper, "We're just barely getting by," every time you declare, "This is just how life is," you sign a spiritual contract with poverty, and heaven cannot override what you consistently agree with. The Bible says in Amos 3:3, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" When you agree with lack, lack becomes your companion. When you agree with fear, fear takes root. But when you agree with God's promises, abundance has no choice but to come. Some of you have been speaking curses over your finances without even realizing it. You've repeated the story of struggle for so long that you've built a wall around yourself with your words. But today I am here as a prophetic voice to tell you, tear it down. Cancel every word that doesn't align with God's truth. Stop agreeing with the lie that there's not enough. Stop agreeing with the voice that says you're not worthy, not smart enough, not good enough to be blessed. The blood of Jesus has already qualified you for every blessing in the kingdom. It is not your job to earn abundance, it is your job to agree with it. You see, the spiritual realm responds to your agreement. In Matthew 18:19, Jesus said, "If two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them by my Father in heaven." Agreement is powerful. And right now, heaven is waiting for your agreement. The angels of the Lord are standing by, waiting for your command. They are not activated by fear, they are activated by faith. When you say, "Money is always hard to come by," you release words that empower lack. But when you say, "I am supplied according to his riches in glory," you authorize heaven to deliver provision to your doorstep. Beloved, let me remind you of something. Your mouth is a creative force, not a commentary on your circumstances. The world wants you to think that speaking positively is foolish. They say, be realistic. But let me tell you what reality is. Reality is God's word, not your circumstances. God's word says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." It says, "He will open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you will not have room enough to receive." It says, "No good thing will he withhold from those who walk uprightly." That is your truth. That is your reality, and the only way to walk in it is to stop agreeing with anything less. When you speak fear, fear grows. When you speak lack, lack multiplies. But when you speak faith, faith rises up and brings you into alignment with divine order. Imagine your words as spiritual seeds. If you plant weeds, your garden will choke out your blessing. But if you plant truth, if you plant scripture, if you plant affirmations of abundance, your life will blossom like a well-watered garden. Beloved, stop letting fear use your mouth. Stop letting anxiety prophesy your future. Choose your words with intention. Speak life, speak wealth, speak increase. I know some of you are listening right now thinking, "But Florence, I have been saying these things and nothing has changed." Hear me, faith is not magic. Faith is law. Just as it takes time for seeds to sprout, your words need time to bear fruit. That is why the Bible says, "Hold fast to your confession of faith." Don't speak abundance once, and then go back to speaking defeat. Make your words a daily discipline. Refuse to let negativity pass your lips. It is not enough to believe silently, you must speak. Your voice is your weapon. Your words are your shield. And let me tell you, this breaking agreement with lack is not just about words, it is about posture. Stop acting like a beggar when you are a daughter of the King. Lift your head, straighten your shoulders, and speak as if your Father owns the universe, because He does. Speak as if the windows of heaven are already open, because they are. Stop rehearsing your pain. Stop retelling the story of how hard life is. The more you repeat it, the deeper it roots in your spirit. Instead, declare a new story. I am walking in divine supply. Every resource I need is flowing to me. I lack no good thing. Today, I invite you to do something radical. Repent for every word of lack you've spoken. Cancel every agreement you've made with fear, and step into alignment with abundance. Say out loud, "I break every covenant with poverty. I come into agreement with heaven's wealth." From this moment forward, my words are full of faith, my thoughts are full of peace, and my life is full of blessing. This declaration will open spiritual doors for you that no man can shut. Beloved, your words shape your world. Your agreement determines your atmosphere. Stop agreeing with lack and begin agreeing with life. Heaven is listening. Angels are listening. Your future is listening. Speak as if you know who you are, because you are not just a woman struggling to survive. You are a daughter of the Most High God, and abundance has always been your portion. Beloved, I want to give you something today that will not just inspire you for a moment, but transform your life for good. This is not a complicated ritual, not a religious performance. This is alignment with divine law. If you want to call money into your life, if you want to break out of cycles of fear and lack, you must make your words a daily habit. You see, faith is not a feeling, faith is a practice. And if you will discipline your tongue, you will unlock doors that no man can shut. I want you to begin every single morning with intentional words. When your eyes open, before you even reach for your phone, place your hand on your heart and whisper, I am aligned with divine abundance. I am supplied, I am blessed, and I am free. Let these words be the first seeds you plant each day. Your subconscious mind is tender in the morning. It receives what you say without resistance. Start your day with life-filled declarations, and you will set the tone for everything that follows. As you brush your teeth, as you brush your hair, as you prepare your coffee, I want you to turn those simple actions into moments of faith. When you stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself, not with shame, not with judgment, but with the eyes of heaven, and say, I radiate prosperity. Favor follows me everywhere I go. Speak until you feel the atmosphere shift in your heart. Even if your bank account is low, even if the bills are stacked high, choose faith-filled words. Remember, God calls things that are not as though they already are. You are not lying when you declare abundance, you are aligning. When you walk into your kitchen, look around and speak blessing over your home. Say, this house is filled with peace and provision. This space is expanding because I am expanding. If you live in a small apartment, do not despise it. Bless it. Your words are painting a picture of the future. When you step outside to go to work, speak over your day. Today I am led to divine connections. Today I will walk in favor. Today unexpected income flows to me. Beloved, this is not just positive thinking. This is spiritual law. Jesus himself said in Mark 11:23, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will happen, it will be done for him. Did you hear that? Whoever say wise. Not whoever worries, not whoever hopes silently, but whoever speaks. Your words are your authority in action. Mountains move when you open your mouth. I want you to go even further. When you open your wallet, speak blessing over it. When you see your bills, instead of groaning, place your hand on them and say, you are paid in full. Money flows easily to me. If you have debt, speak to it. I call you canceled in Jesus' name. These words are not empty, they are assignments. Angels hear you and move at the sound of God's word. Make this a practice whenever you put your hands to work, whether you're typing at a desk, cooking for your family, or running a business. Declare, everything I touch multiplies. I am anointed to create wealth. These daily affirmations are not just declarations, they are spiritual warfare. The enemy cannot stand against a woman who knows her authority. Some of you may feel silly doing this at first. You may even feel resistance rise up inside of you. That's because the enemy knows the power of your words. He wants you to stay silent or negative. But beloved, you must push through. Speak boldly even if your circumstances haven't shifted yet. Keep speaking until the atmosphere around you begins to change. Faith is not based on what you see. It's based on what you know to be true in God's word. I encourage you to create what I call power moments throughout your day. Set reminders on your phone to pause and declare abundance. When you're driving to work, say, money comes to me from expected and unexpected places. When you're cooking dinner, say, my hands are blessed, and everything I create prospers. When you lay down at night, whisper, thank you, Father, that I lack nothing. I rest in abundance. These little moments create a rhythm of faith in your life. This is not about striving or trying to convince God to bless you. He has already blessed you. This is about bringing your mind, your spirit, and your words into alignment with what He has already declared over you. Your daily routine becomes your daily agreement with heaven, and when you walk in daily agreement, miracles stop being random events. They become your new normal. Beloved, if you will guard your tongue and speak life every day, you will see change. Not because the words are magic, but because words are law. The law of God never fails. Your declarations are seeds. Keep planting. Keep watering, keep speaking. Soon, you will look back at your life and see a garden of abundance where there used to be weeds of fear. This is your new routine, and it will change everything. Beloved, I want you to understand something that most people miss. Your imagination is not a playground for fantasies. It is the blueprint of heaven. God has given you the gift of imagination because He created you in His image, and He Himself is a creator. In Genesis, He looked into the void and imagined light, and then He spoke, "Let there be light," and light appeared. Do you see? First came the vision, then the word, and finally, the manifestation. And so it is with you. If you cannot see yourself blessed in your spirit, you will never hold that blessing in your hands. I want to speak to every woman listening right now. You have been using your imagination, but the enemy has been twisting it. He has been using it to paint pictures of fear, failure, and lack. You imagine yourself unable to pay your bills. You imagine losing everything. You imagine worst-case scenarios over and over again. But that is not the will of God for your mind. He has called you to use your imagination as a divine womb, to birth the life He has already promised you. The Bible says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." If you want to change your reality, you must first change the pictures you hold inside. Close your eyes for a moment and see yourself not as you are now, but as God sees you. See yourself debt-free. See your home filled with peace and beauty. See your children flourishing. See your hands holding the keys to new opportunities. See your bank account overflowing, not for vanity, but for His glory. Let your imagination be filled with abundance, because your mind is the spiritual canvas on which God paints His promises. Do not dismiss this as foolish or unrealistic. Faith itself is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That means what you see with your spiritual eyes is more real than what you see with your physical eyes. Your imagination is your spiritual sight, and it is time to sanctify it. Stop letting fear write the script of your future. Start letting God's word form the pictures in your heart. When you speak your affirmations, beloved, pair them with vision. When you say, "Money flows to me," see yourself receiving checks in the mail. See yourself walking confidently into new opportunities. When you declare, "I am blessed and highly favored," picture doors opening for you without effort. Your mind is the soil, your words are the seeds, and your faith is the water. Together, they will produce a harvest. Florence Scovel Shinn always said, "Your word is your wand." But I want you to also know this: your imagination is your workshop. When you visualize yourself in abundance, you are creating a mold for spirit to fill. Spirit cannot fill a vacuum, it needs a clear image, a clear design. Just as an architect draws a plan before a builder constructs a home, your mind must draw the plan for the life you desire. Your words then enforce that blueprint, and heaven moves to make it real. Let me give you a practice that will change your life. Every night before bed, lie down and imagine your ideal life as if it is already happening. Feel the peace in your heart. Picture yourself free from fear, joyful and secure. See yourself blessing others, giving generously, walking in confidence. Let those images sink deeply into your subconscious mind, because your subconscious is like fertile soil that never argues. It simply brings forth what is planted. When you rise in the morning, speak words that match that vision. This is how you train your spirit to expect miracles. Beloved, your imagination is not a toy, it is a spiritual instrument. Use it with purpose. Do not allow fear to hijack your mind another day. When fear shows you disaster, replace it with God's promises. When doubt whispers that nothing will change, close your eyes and see your future through His eyes. He said, "I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." This is your truth. Hold on to it until it becomes your reality. And hear me, you do not need to know how it will happen. You do not need to see the steps. Your job is to see the end result and speak it. God's job is to orchestrate the details. Trust Him. Trust the law. Trust the vision He places in your heart. Do not rush. Do not doubt. Rest in the assurance that the moment you can see it and speak it, it already exists in the spiritual realm. Your imagination is the bridge between heaven's supply and your earthly experience. protect it, guard it, feed it with truth. Let your mind become a sanctuary of abundance, not a battlefield of fear. When your vision aligns with your confession, and your confession aligns with God's word, nothing will be withheld from you. This is divine law, and it works every time. Beloved, I need you to hear this with your spirit, not just your mind. You are not at the mercy of this world's economy. You are not defined by Wall Street, your job title, your bank account, or the news headlines that scream fear and recession. No, you are a daughter of the King, and the King's economy never crashes. Heaven's supply is limitless. The Creator of the universe is not wringing his hands over inflation. He is not wondering how to provide for you. Your Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He holds the universe in his hands. And if you are his child, that means every resource you need is already accounted for. This is where the enemy tries to keep so many women trapped, by convincing you that your future depends solely on what you can see. But Scripture says, we walk by faith, not by sight. What you see with your physical eyes is not the full story. Behind every closed door, behind every bill, behind every moment of uncertainty, heaven is at work. There are angels assigned to your life. They are waiting for your command, and they are not moved by fear. They respond to faith, and faith is released through your words. Let me remind you of something powerful. Psalm 103, verse 20 says that angels hearken to the voice of his word. Not your fear, not your worry, but his word. That means every time you declare, my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory, angels are dispatched to ensure it happens. Every time you say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, the entire spiritual realm aligns itself to bring provision into your hands. You are not begging for scraps, you are enforcing a covenant. Beloved, you are not a victim of the economy, you are a citizen of heaven, and heaven's economy is based on spiritual law, not earthly fluctuation. Spiritual law says, give, and it shall be given unto you. Spiritual law says, as a man sows, so shall he reap. Spiritual law says, no good thing will he withhold from those who walk uprightly. Do you see? You are never truly in lack, because heaven has no lack. When you believe this truth, when you walk in this truth, you will stop living in survival mode and start living in supernatural supply. Think of Jesus feeding the 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish. He didn't look at the numbers and panic. He looked up to heaven, blessed what he had, and multiplied it. That same miracle working power is backing you right now. You may feel like you don't have enough, but God is not limited by your bank balance. Your job is not your source. It is only a channel. God is your source, and he has unlimited ways to provide for you. He can create opportunities you never imagined. He can open doors no man can shut. He can cause favor to fall on you in an instant, changing your entire story. But here is the key. You must stop speaking fear and start speaking faith. Stop agreeing with the world's report and start agreeing with heaven's truth. When the world says, money is hard to come by, you say, wealth and riches are in my house. When they say, there's no way out of debt, you declare, I am the head and not the tail, I am above only and not beneath. Your confession determines your reality. Heaven moves when you open your mouth and speak in alignment with God's promises. Some of you listening to me today have been waiting for someone to rescue you financially. You've been waiting for a raise, a job change, or even a miracle check in the mail. But I came to tell you that you already have the miracle inside of you. The kingdom of God is within you, and the moment you align your faith, your words, and your vision, provision will begin to flow. You are not waiting on heaven. Heaven is waiting on you to speak. Let me make this plain: your spiritual inheritance is already settled. Jesus paid for your freedom, your healing, and your provision on the cross. When he said, "It is finished," he didn't just mean salvation for your soul, he meant the full redemption of your life. You are redeemed from poverty. You are redeemed from lack. You are redeemed from fear. That is your legal standing. But spiritual laws work like natural laws. They don't operate automatically. Just as you must flip a light switch for electricity to flow, you must use your words to activate the promises of God. Beloved, I want you to start seeing yourself as heaven sees you, not as a woman scraping by, but as a woman backed by the full resources of heaven. Start walking with the confidence of one who knows she is covered. You are royalty. The King of Kings is your Father. And when you walk in that truth, doors open without you pushing. Opportunities find you. Money flows to you with ease because you are no longer striving. You are flowing with divine law. So the next time fear tries to creep in when you look at your bills or when you hear bad news about the economy, speak this out loud. I am not of this world's system. I live by heaven's economy. I am supplied, I am favored, and I will never lack. Say it until it becomes your reality, because the truth is, you are already backed by heaven's unlimited supply. All that is left is for you to believe it, declare it, and walk in it. Beloved, now that you've heard this truth, it's time to do something about it. I don't want you to just nod your head or feel inspired for a few minutes. I want you to rise up and claim your inheritance. There is a spiritual principle I have taught for years: nothing happens until you speak. The kingdom of God is voice activated. Angels move when they hear faith. Provision flows when it is called by name. Favor shows up when you decree it with confidence. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Your words are not suggestions, they are law. So today, I invite you to open your mouth and decree your truth. Not the truth of the world, not the truth of your circumstances, but the truth of heaven. Say this with me, wherever you are right now, whispered if you must, but say it with faith. I am a child of the King. I am blessed, I am favored, I am rich in every way. Money flows to me from expected and unexpected places. I walk in divine wisdom, and I am led by the Spirit of God. Every bill is paid, every debt is canceled, every need is met. I am the head and not the tail. I am above only and not beneath. Doors are opening for me now. Opportunities chase me down. I am anointed to create wealth, and I use it for God's glory. I am fearless, I am faithful, and I lack nothing. Beloved, say this out loud every day until it becomes the song of your soul. Your words are powerful, and your spirit believes what it hears the most. You have spent years hearing voices of fear, voices of doubt, voices of limitation. It's time to retrain your spirit with the voice of truth. Start your mornings by declaring who you are and whose you are. Go to sleep at night with words of abundance on your lips. Even when your circumstances haven't shifted yet, speak as though they already have, because in the spiritual realm, they have. When you decree a thing, you are not begging God to move, you are enforcing His promises. The Bible says in Job 22:28, "You shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you." That means your decree is your authority in action. Your words are like royal commands, and heaven itself responds. This is not about arrogance. This is about knowing your identity. You are not a beggar at heaven's door. You are a daughter of the King, seated in heavenly places with Christ. And let me remind you of something: this is not just about money. This is about freedom. Money is a tool, and in your hands, it will bless your children, your family, your church, your community. When you walk in financial freedom, you walk in spiritual authority. The enemy wants you broke because he knows a free woman is a dangerous woman. A free woman gives boldly, dreams fearlessly, and lives fully in her calling. That is why I am challenging you today: open your mouth and take your freedom back. Beloved, imagine a world where women everywhere rise up and begin to speak life over themselves, over their homes, and over their finances. Imagine daughters no longer bound by fear, mothers no longer crying over unpaid bills, wives no longer feeling ashamed of wanting more. That is what God desires for you. That is why you are hearing this message right now. It is a divine appointment. He is inviting you to step into a new dimension of faith, a new level of abundance, and a new confidence in His promises. So let this be your decree every day. I walk in divine abundance. I am highly favored. My supply is limitless because my Father is limitless. I will never lack again, because I am a magnet for divine provision. Say it in your car. Say it in your kitchen. Say it while folding laundry or putting your children to bed. Let your home be filled with the sound of faith. And as you speak, the atmosphere around you will begin to shift. Angels will begin to move. Doors will begin to open. Opportunities will come to you effortlessly because heaven always responds to faith-filled words. This is your moment, beloved. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are not trapped in cycles of struggle. You are a powerful spirit-filled woman of God, and you have the authority to call forth everything you need. So take your stand. Open your mouth. Speak as if your Father owns the universe, because He does. Declare abundance, walk in it, and never again agree with lack. Your decree is your victory. Speak it boldly. Live it daily. Watch as heaven aligns with your words, and your life becomes a testimony of God's goodness.
What if everything you've been told about money is completely wrong? Right now, millions of people are grinding through their days, convinced that their financial struggles come from external forces beyond their control. They blame the stock market crash, the government's policies, their boss who won't give them a raise, or simply bad luck that seems to follow them everywhere. Has this ever happened to you? You work harder, stay longer hours, cut every possible expense, yet somehow you're still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering why abundance feels like a distant dream reserved for other people. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Here's what might shock you. Your bank account has absolutely nothing to do with the economy, your job title, or even how hard you work. What you're about to discover might surprise you, but every dollar that flows into or out of your life is controlled by something far more powerful than any earthly institution. It's controlled by divine law. These aren't the kind of laws you learned about in school or read about in financial magazines. These are spiritual frequencies that operate completely independently of worldly circumstances, responding not to market conditions or government decisions, but to your personal alignment with universal principles that have governed abundance since the beginning of time. Think about this for a moment. Why do some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others, equally intelligent and hardworking, struggle their entire lives? Why do lottery winners often end up broke again within a few years, while others can lose everything and rebuild their fortunes seemingly overnight? The answer lies in understanding that money is not random, not political, and certainly not personal. It's obedient to spiritual law. If you're currently experiencing financial stress, limitation, or that constant feeling of never having enough, I want you to consider a radical possibility. You're not unlucky, you're not cursed, and you haven't been forgotten by the universe. Instead, you're simply out of alignment with the divine frequencies that govern abundance. This misalignment creates a spiritual disconnection from what is actually your natural birthright, a life of prosperity and flow. Most people spend their entire lives trying to fix their money problems by changing external circumstances, getting a better job, moving to a different city, learning new skills, or following the latest investment strategy. But what if the real issue isn't out there in the world, but within the invisible realm of spiritual vibration? What if your financial reality is simply mirroring back to you the exact frequency you're unconsciously broadcasting every single day through your thoughts, words, and beliefs? Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal will completely transform not just how you think about money, but how money responds to you. There are 7 specific divine laws that control every financial transaction in your life, and once you understand how to align with them, now I want to go even deeper into this hidden truth that completely revolutionizes how we understand wealth creation. The most profound revelation behind financial transformation isn't about working harder or finding better opportunities. It's about recognizing that money responds to vibration, not effort. This might sound abstract at first, but think about your own journey with money. You've probably noticed people who seem to effortlessly attract opportunities, while others grind themselves into exhaustion with little to show for it. The difference isn't talent, education, or even luck. It's the energetic frequency they're broadcasting into the universe every single moment. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every belief you hold about. Money creates a specific vibration that either magnetizes abundance toward you or repels it away. When your internal frequency is aligned with prosperity, Money flows naturally. When it's misaligned, you can work 24 hours a day and still struggle financially. This is why some entrepreneurs build million-dollar businesses while others with identical strategies fail repeatedly. The uncomfortable truth is that you cannot outwork spiritual misalignment. No amount of hustling, grinding, or pushing harder can compensate for contradictory beliefs and misaligned energy running in the background of your subconscious mind. It's like trying to drive forward with the parking brake engaged. The harder you press the accelerator, the more resistance you create. Most people live their entire lives trapped in this exhausting cycle. They believe that success comes from more action, more sacrifice, more hours invested. They follow every business strategy, attend every seminar, read every success book. Yet their bank account remains frustratingly stagnant. The missing piece isn't another technique or tactic. It's understanding that your energetic blueprint determines your financial reality. This transformation in perspective changes everything. Instead of chasing money through force and struggle, you begin attracting it through alignment and flow. Instead of feeling powerless against economic circumstances, you realize you hold the remote control to your financial experience. Through your vibrational choices, the 7 divine laws operate on this exact principle. They work through frequency, not force. They respond to your spiritual decisions about who you are and what you deserve, not your physical efforts to manipulate external conditions. When you align with these laws, money begins moving toward you with the same inevitability that water flows downhill. The revelations behind this process are both simple and profound, requiring a complete shift in how you approach wealth building. Rather than asking, how can I make more money? The question becomes, how can I become the kind of person money naturally flows to? This brings us to a revelation that most people never discover in their entire lifetime. You are essentially operating as a spiritual bank every single day, whether you realize it or not. Every word that comes out of your mouth functions as either a deposit or a withdrawal in your energetic account with the universe. Every thought you entertain generates interest, either positive or negative, that compounds over time and directly impacts your financial reality. Think about the conversations you've had just this week. When you said, "I can't afford that," you made a withdrawal. When you complained about being broke, another withdrawal. When you joked about your financial struggles or spoke about money with fear and anxiety, you were essentially telling the universe to deduct funds from your spiritual account. But here's the fascinating part. When you speak about abundance, express gratitude for what you have, or declare your financial goals with confidence, you're making substantial deposits that accumulate spiritual interest. This hidden mechanism operates behind the scenes of your daily life, silently recording every financial thought and translating it into your lived experience. Most people unknowingly bankrupt themselves spiritually through careless speech and negative thinking patterns, then wonder why their physical bank account reflects the same emptiness. The transformation happens when you realize that these 7 divine laws aren't motivational advice or positive thinking techniques. They're precise spiritual codes that function with mathematical accuracy. Just like entering the correct combination opens a safe, aligning with these laws in exact sequence unlocks the vault of divine supply. There's no room for approximation or casual application. They either work completely or not at all. This is where most people miss the mark. They treat spiritual principles like suggestions they can follow when convenient, mixing and matching according to their mood or circumstances. But divine law doesn't bend to human convenience. It operates on the same unwavering principles as gravity or electricity. You don't negotiate with gravity. You either align with it or face the consequences. The impact of this understanding completely shifts your approach to wealth building. Instead of hoping for financial breakthroughs, you begin engineering them through precise spiritual compliance. Instead of leaving your prosperity to chance, you start operating the exact codes that govern universal abundance. The journey from financial struggle to abundance isn't about learning new strategies or finding better opportunities. It's about recognizing that you already possess the master key to unlimited supply, your conscious alignment with these divine frequencies. The vault has always been there, waiting for someone who understands the combination. The revelations within these laws expose why traditional financial advice often fails and why spiritual principles consistently produce results for those who apply them correctly. Write in the comments, "I'm ready for the codes," if you're beginning to see how this spiritual framework could transform your relationship with money. Now here's where this gets really interesting. 99% of people will never discover these laws because they're too busy chasing money through conventional strategies that actually work against spiritual abundance. They're caught in an endless cycle of panic and striving, applying external tactics while remaining completely locked out of the inner sanctuary where true wealth is generated. Watch people around you and you'll see this pattern everywhere. They're following the latest investment trends, switching careers hoping for better pay, cutting expenses to the bone, or starting side hustles that exhaust them. Behind the scenes, they're operating from fear, scarcity, and desperation, the exact frequencies that repel abundance. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while broadcasting static on the same frequency. The hidden truth that changes everything is understanding that money has no moral character whatsoever. It's neither good nor evil, virtuous nor corrupt. Money is completely neutral. It simply responds obediently to whatever vibrational frequency you emit, serving whoever commands it through proper spiritual alignment, regardless of their background, education, or even their perceived goodness. This revelation dismantles so many limiting beliefs that keep people trapped in financial mediocrity. You don't need to be more deserving, more educated, or more worthy to attract abundance. You don't need to sacrifice your values or compromise your integrity. Money doesn't judge your past decisions or current circumstances. It only recognizes frequency. Think about this for a moment. Money flows to drug dealers and saints alike, to college dropouts and PhD holders, to people with perfect moral records and those with complicated histories. The determining factor isn't character assessment, it's vibrational alignment. Money serves whoever speaks its language fluently through consistent spiritual frequency. This understanding completely transforms your relationship with wealth because it removes all the emotional baggage and moral confusion that clouds most people's financial decisions. You stop wondering if you deserve abundance and start focusing on becoming vibrationally aligned with it. You stop judging wealthy people or creating stories about why money avoids you, and you start operating the precise spiritual mechanics that govern financial flow. The journey becomes surprisingly straightforward once you realize you're not competing for limited resources or trying to prove your worthiness to some cosmic judge. You're simply learning to broadcast the correct frequency that money recognizes and responds to automatically. The impact of this shift in perspective is immediate and profound because it eliminates the internal resistance that sabotages most people's financial efforts before they even begin. Write in the comments, "Money is neutral," if this perspective is starting to reshape how you think about wealth and abundance. This brings us to a deeper understanding that revolutionizes everything you thought you knew about. Financial flow. Money is essentially spirit in motion, spiritual energy that has taken physical form and responds directly to the orders of those who stand in truth and proper alignment. It's not emotional, it's not personal, and it doesn't get offended or play favorites. Money operates as a neutral force that follows spiritual laws with the same mathematical precision as physics or chemistry. Think about this transformation in perspective. Instead of seeing money as something external that you need to chase, capture, or convince to come to you, you begin recognizing it as responsive energy that's simply waiting for clear, consistent direction from someone who understands how to communicate in its language. The hidden truth behind why so many people struggle financially becomes crystal clear when you understand that the universal intelligence governing abundance operates with extraordinary precision. This divine mind that orchestrates all financial flow will not release overflow into contradictory or confused vibrational states. It waits patiently, sometimes for years or even decades, for your internal frequency to match divine alignment before releasing financial supply into your experience. This explains why desperate people rarely attract abundance, why anxious entrepreneurs often sabotage their own success, and why those who most need money frequently repel it. The universe isn't being cruel or withholding, it's simply following its own perfect logic. Confusion creates confusion. Desperation attracts more reasons to be desperate, and scattered energy produces scattered results. The impact of this revelation changes your entire approach to wealth creation. Instead of trying to force outcomes through willpower and intense effort, you begin focusing on achieving internal clarity and alignment first. Instead of wondering why your financial prayers seem unanswered, you start examining whether your vibrational signal is clear enough for the universe to safely respond. The journey becomes about achieving coherence between your conscious desires and your subconscious programming, between what you say you want and what you actually expect to receive. When this alignment happens, money begins flowing, not because you've worked harder or found better strategies, but because you've finally created the internal conditions that allow divine supply to move through you safely. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this same principle. Someone achieved vibrational clarity, and the universe responded with mathematical precision to their aligned frequency. Write in the comments, clarity over confusion, if you're beginning to see how your internal state directly impacts your external financial reality. This understanding leads us to one of the most counterintuitive revelations about wealth creation. True abundance doesn't flow to the cleverest people, the most educated, or even the most deserving. It flows to the obedient. Wealth is revealed to those who consistently align with divine spiritual principles through daily, exact, and unapologetic adherence to these universal laws, regardless of their background or intellectual capacity. You've probably witnessed this phenomenon without realizing it. The brilliant MBA graduate struggling with debt, while the high school dropout builds a fortune. The kind-hearted social worker barely making ends meet, while someone with questionable ethics enjoys abundant prosperity. The determining factor isn't intelligence, education, or moral character. It's spiritual obedience to the laws that govern financial flow. This transformation in understanding removes the frustration and confusion that keeps most people trapped in financial limitation. You stop wondering why life seems unfair or why your good intentions don't translate into material abundance. Instead, you begin focusing on the precise spiritual mechanics that actually control wealth distribution in the universe. Behind the scenes of every sustained fortune is this same principle. Someone discovered the divine laws governing abundance and chose daily obedience over occasional compliance. They understood that spiritual principles work through consistency, not intensity, and that alignment is a practice, not a one-time decision. The hidden truth becomes even more powerful when you realize that divine will actually supports your financial prosperity, not your lack. The biblical blueprint in 3 John, verse 2 states, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." This isn't religious rhetoric. It's a spiritual instruction manual revealing that prosperity is part of your divine design. The impact of this revelation dismantles the guilt, shame, and confusion that many people carry around wealth. You're not being selfish by desiring abundance. You're aligning with divine intention. You're not taking from others by prospering. You're fulfilling your spiritual blueprint. The universe doesn't want you broke, struggling, or sacrificing. It wants you prosperous as a reflection of your soul's expansion and spiritual development. The journey toward financial transformation becomes a spiritual practice of daily alignment rather than a desperate chase for external solutions. You begin treating wealth creation as sacred work, approaching these divine laws with the same reverence and consistency you would any spiritual discipline. Write in the comments, divine obedience, if you're ready to approach wealth building as a spiritual practice rather than a worldly struggle. Now, this brings us to a revelation that completely dismantles one of the most destructive beliefs embedded in our culture. The false notion that poverty is somehow pious or that struggling financially makes you more spiritual. This couldn't be further from the truth. Poverty is not a virtue. Scarcity is not sacred, and financial lack does not bring you closer to divine purpose. In fact, the opposite is true. You are meant to prosper because you are a vessel of divine identity, and lack contradicts your true spiritual nature. Think about this transformation in perspective. When you're constantly worried about bills, stressed about money, or exhausted from financial pressure, how much energy do you have left for spiritual growth, serving others, or fulfilling your higher purpose. Financial stress doesn't purify the soul, it distracts it from its true calling. The hidden truth behind authentic spiritual teaching is that your outer world reflects your inner condition. When your soul begins to prosper through spoken word, obedience to divine principles, and genuine expectation of good, money, and opportunities begin responding to you with the same natural inevitability that waves respond to the gravitational pull of the moon. This is where the real transformation happens, not through grinding harder or applying more external strategies, but through cultivating internal prosperity first. Your soul's expansion creates the energetic foundation that draws material abundance effortlessly into your experience. It's not about deserving more money. It's about becoming the kind of person whose inner richness naturally magnetizes outer wealth. Behind the scenes of every lasting financial breakthrough is this same principle operating. Someone aligned their inner prosperity with their outer circumstances, and the universe responded by rearranging physical reality to match their spiritual condition. The journey becomes about nurturing your soul's prosperity through conscious decisions about what you speak, what you expect, and how consistently you align with divine principles. The impact of this understanding shifts everything because you stop trying to manipulate external circumstances and start focusing on the internal transformation that makes abundance inevitable. You realize that your bank account is simply reflecting back to you the level of prosperity your soul has achieved through spiritual practice. The revelations within this principle explain why some people can lose everything and rebuild quickly, while others struggle for decades despite having all the right opportunities and resources. This understanding leads us to a crucial distinction that separates those who experience financial breakthroughs from those who remain trapped in intellectual understanding without results. These 7 divine laws are not meant for endless analysis, debate, or philosophical discussion. They're designed for immediate, practical application through spoken word, repeated practice, and complete embodiment until your subconscious mind accepts them as absolute truth. Most people approach spiritual principles like academic subjects. They study them, discuss them, analyze their implications, and try to understand every nuance before taking action. But divine law doesn't respond to intellectual comprehension. It responds to vibrational embodiment. You could spend years studying these principles without experiencing any transformation in your financial reality if you're not actively speaking them, practicing them, and living them daily. The hidden truth behind lasting wealth creation is that these principles function as spiritual frequencies that you must become, rather than tools you occasionally pick up and use. You don't dabble in frequency. You either embody it completely or you remain outside its influence. It's like trying to tune into a radio station by thinking about the frequency instead of actually adjusting your receiver to match it. This transformation requires a complete shift from knowing about abundance to becoming abundance itself. When you truly embody these frequencies, you stop trying to attract money and start naturally emanating the vibration that money recognizes and responds to. The journey becomes about aligning your entire being, your thoughts, words, expectations, and daily actions with the frequency of prosperity. Behind the scenes of every financial miracle is someone who stopped analyzing spiritual principles and started living them. They made the conscious decision to embody these frequencies so completely that their outer world had no choice but to rearrange itself to match their inner vibration. The impact of this approach is immediate and profound because your subconscious mind only accepts what you repeatedly demonstrate. Through consistent action and spoken word, reading about abundance principles once or twice has minimal effect. But speaking them daily, practicing them consistently, and embodying them completely rewrites your internal programming at the deepest level. The revelations that come through embodiment rather than analysis create lasting transformation because you're not just changing your thinking, you're changing your entire energetic signature. Write in the comments, embodiment over analysis. If you're ready to stop studying wealth principles and start living them completely. Now, let me reveal the first divine law that will fundamentally transform how you approach every conversation, every internal dialogue, and every casual comment you make throughout your day. The law of the word operates on a principle that most people never grasp. Every single word you speak creates a spiritual mold into which divine substance is automatically poured. Think about this revelation for a moment. Your words aren't just sounds that disappear into the air. They're creative forces that literally shape the substance of your life experience. When you speak from fear, doubt, or limitation, you're creating scarcity molds that the universe fills with matching experiences. When you speak from faith, expectation, and abundance, you're creating supply molds that attract prosperity into your reality. The hidden truth behind this process is that the spiritual world operates with recording precision. It listens constantly to every word you speak and multiplies what it hears without questioning the wisdom, truth, or consequences of your statements. The universe doesn't filter your words through logic or protect you from poor choices. It simply responds to your vibrational instruction with mathematical accuracy. This means when you casually say, "I'm always behind on my bills," you're giving the universe a direct order to create more situations where you're behind. When you joke, "I'm so broke," you're programming your reality for continued financial lack. But here's where the transformation happens. When you consciously declare, "I'm abundantly provided for," you're literally molding your future experiences around that frequency. The impact of understanding this law changes everything, because you realize your mouth isn't just for communication. It's your primary tool for reality creation. Behind the scenes of every financial struggle is unconscious negative programming delivered through careless speech patterns that most people repeat thousands of times without awareness. The journey toward financial transformation begins the moment you take complete responsibility for every word that comes out of your mouth. You stop treating conversation as casual commentary and start approaching it as sacred creation work. You begin speaking intentionally rather than reactively, understanding that your words are literally building your tomorrow's experiences. The revelations that come through conscious application of this law are immediate and undeniable because you start witnessing how your deliberate word choices create corresponding shifts in your external circumstances. Write in the comments, "My words create my world," if you're ready to transform your relationship with language and begin speaking your abundance into existence. This brings us to a profound shift in perspective that most people never make in their entire lifetime. Your mouth was never designed to function as a thermometer that simply reports current conditions. It's meant to operate as a creative instrument that actively shapes and rewrites your reality with every sentence you speak. Most people spend their lives echoing their bank account balance instead of authoring their financial future through conscious word choice. Think about the conversations you've had this week. How often did you describe your current financial situation as if you were reading numbers off a screen? How frequently did you complain about bills, joke about being broke, or express worry about money? Each time you did this, you were essentially programming the universe to maintain those exact conditions rather than transforming them. The hidden truth behind lasting financial transformation is that you must stop treating your mouth like a news reporter and start using it like a master architect. Instead of saying, "I can't afford that," you begin declaring, "My supply meets every demand." Instead of complaining, "Money is so tight," you start affirming, "Abundance flows easily into my life." This isn't positive thinking, it's reality engineering through conscious creation. The transformation happens when you realize that until your speech becomes sacred and intentional, your money cannot become stable. There's a direct, unbreakable connection between conscious speaking and financial stability according to spiritual law. Your words either stabilize or destabilize your financial flow based on their vibrational frequency and creative power. Behind the scenes of every person with consistent financial stability is someone who learned to guard their words like precious seeds, understanding that careless speech patterns create chaotic money patterns, while deliberate declarations create steady abundance streams. The impact of this revelation changes your entire relationship with communication because you begin approaching every conversation as an opportunity to strengthen your financial foundation. The journey toward sacred speech requires vigilance and practice because most people have decades of unconscious programming to overcome. But the moment you commit to speaking only what you want to multiply in your experience, your entire financial reality begins shifting to match your elevated word choices. The revelations that come through sacred speech extend far beyond money, because you discover that every area of your life responds to the same creative principle operating through your conscious word choices. Write in the comments, sacred speech creates abundance. If you're ready to transform your mouth into a tool for financial creation rather than financial reporting. Now, as powerful as conscious speech is for transforming your financial reality, there's a second divine law that works in perfect harmony with your words to create unstoppable abundance flow. The law of circulation reveals that money is meant to move, flow, and circulate, never to be gripped, hoarded, or held in fear. Money is literally spirit in motion, and like all spiritual energy, it expands when released in faith and contracts when held in fear, perfectly honoring whatever vibration you emit around it. Think about this transformation in understanding. Most people treat money like a precious resource they need to protect and preserve, clutching it tightly out of fear that there won't be enough. But this approach actually works against the very nature of money itself. Spiritual. Energy cannot multiply in stagnation. It requires movement, flow, and circulation to expand and return to you amplified. The hidden truth behind why some people effortlessly attract money while others struggle to keep it is found in their relationship with circulation. Those who understand this law release money with joy, confidence, and expectation of return. They give, invest, and spend from a place of abundance, knowing that circulation creates more circulation. But those who operate from scarcity grip every dollar, second-guess every expenditure, and unconsciously teach the universe that they don't trust it to provide. When you hold money in fear or hoard it out of anxiety about the future, you're essentially sending a vibrational message to the universe that you don't trust it to return your investment. You're programming scarcity into your experience by treating abundance like a finite resource that must be conserved rather than a flowing river that must be directed. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is someone who learned to release money with the same confidence they have in breathing, knowing that what goes out will naturally return, usually multiplied. The impact of understanding circulation completely changes your relationship with spending, giving, and investing, because you stop operating from fear of loss and start operating from expectation of return. The journey toward mastering circulation requires rewiring deep survival instincts that tell you to hoard and protect. But divine law cannot multiply abundance in an atmosphere of suspicion, anxiety, or tight-fisted control. It requires flow, movement, and the kind of confidence that comes from understanding money as cooperative spiritual energy rather than competitive material resource. The revelations that come through practicing conscious circulation extend far beyond your bank account, because you begin experiencing how all forms of energy respond to the same principle of release and return. Write in the comments, I trust the flow, if you're ready to release the fear-based grip on money and start circulating with confidence and expectation. This understanding takes us deeper into the mechanics of conscious circulation, because it's not enough to simply release money with good intentions. Every dollar you release should be accompanied by spoken declaration of its return. This single practice transforms ordinary spending into spiritual transaction that commands multiplication and activates the circulation loop with divine precision. Most people release money silently, hoping for the best, but not actively directing its return. They pay bills, make investments, or give gifts without ever speaking over the transaction or declaring their expectation of abundance flowing back to them. But when you add conscious declaration to every financial release, you're essentially programming the universe with specific instructions about how that energy should multiply and return to your experience. The transformation happens when you realize that tithing, gifting, and investing are not merely material decisions about moving money from one account to another. They're spiritual transactions that either expand or contract your abundance pipeline based on the frequency and declaration you bring to them. When performed with proper vibrational alignment and spoken word, These activities call forth exponential return rather than loss. Think about this shift in perspective. Instead of grimacing when you pay bills, you begin declaring, "This payment activates my supply channels." Instead of reluctantly giving gifts, you joyfully proclaim, "What I release returns to me multiplied." Instead of nervously making investments, you confidently affirm, "This seed produces abundant harvest in perfect timing." The hidden truth behind why some people experience miraculous returns on their giving while others feel depleted is found in this practice of conscious declaration. Behind the scenes of every financial miracle is someone who learned to speak over every transaction, turning routine money movements into powerful spiritual activations that command the universe's cooperation. The impact of this practice is immediate because you're no longer passively hoping that your financial releases will somehow benefit you. You're actively commanding their return through the same creative power that governs all abundance flow. The journey toward mastering circulation with declaration requires developing the habit of never releasing money silently again, understanding that your words are the activating force that transforms spending into spiritual investment. The revelations that come through this practice extend beyond personal finance because you begin witnessing how conscious direction affects every form of energy exchange in your life, from relationships to business opportunities to creative endeavors. Write in the comments, "I declare abundance," if you're ready to transform every financial transaction into a conscious spiritual activation through spoken word. Now, the first two laws we've explored create the foundation for abundance flow through conscious word and circulation. But there's a third divine law that bridges the gap between spiritual principle and physical manifestation in the most profound way. The law of assumption requires that you walk, speak, breathe, and expect as if your financial demonstration is already complete. Because in divine mind it already is. What delays the visible manifestation is not divine timing or external circumstances. It's your own refusal to step into the feeling of completion. This transformation in approach challenges everything most people believe about manifestation because it requires you to live from the end result rather than working toward it. Most people operate from a vibration of striving, hoping, and waiting for their abundance to arrive. But this very frequency of expectation actually delays what you're trying to create, because you cannot manifest wealth while vibrating in a state of waiting or hoping. The hidden truth behind instantaneous financial breakthroughs is that someone collapsed the timeline and assumed the frequency of fulfillment now, living as if their supply was already released into their experience. They stopped asking, "When will my money come?" and started operating from, "My abundance is here now." They quit rehearsing lack through anxious waiting and began embodying wealth through confident assumption. Think about this shift in your own experience. When you truly assume something is already yours, you stop desperately seeking it. When you know your paycheck is coming, you don't panic about money. When you're certain about an outcome, you naturally relax into its reality. The law of assumption works the same way, but it requires you to step into that certainty before seeing physical evidence. Behind the scenes of every financial miracle is someone who made the decision to live as if their demonstration was already complete. They began making decisions from abundance rather than scarcity, speaking from fulfillment rather than lack, and expecting from certainty rather than hope. The impact of this practice is immediate because your entire energy field shifts from the vibration of seeking to the vibration of having. The journey toward mastering assumption requires releasing the need for external validation before stepping into your new financial identity. It means feeling wealthy before your bank account changes, acting abundant before opportunities appear, and expecting prosperity before circumstances shift. The revelations that come through consistent assumption practice transform not just your relationship with money, but your entire approach to creating any desired outcome in your life. Write in the comments, "It is already done," if you're ready to step into the frequency of financial completion, rather than continuing to wait for abundance to arrive. This practice of assumption isn't wishful thinking or self-deception. It's spiritual rehearsal that trains your body, breath, and cells to radiate the condition you command, rather than the condition you currently experience. When you consistently assume wealth, you're literally reprogramming your nervous system, your posture, your decision-making patterns, and your energetic signature to match abundance rather than lack. Think about how this transformation works on a cellular level. When you genuinely feel wealthy, your body chemistry changes, your stress hormones decrease, your confidence increases, and you naturally begin making choices that wealthy people make. Your brain starts recognizing opportunities that were always there but invisible to your scarcity-focused awareness. This isn't positive thinking. It's biological and energetic reprogramming through conscious assumption. The hidden truth behind why assumption works so powerfully is that your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual experiences. When you consistently rehearse the feeling of financial abundance, your internal guidance system begins directing you toward thoughts, actions, and opportunities that align with that assumed reality. Now, this brings us to the fourth divine law that amplifies everything we've discussed so far through a practice that most people completely misunderstand: the law of tithing. With word reveals that tithing is not religious obligation, guilt-driven duty, or superstitious ritual. It's spiritual alignment that activates abundant flow when done with conscious declaration and specific intention. Most people approach giving from exactly the wrong frequency. They give money and hope for the best, treating tithing like a cosmic lottery ticket where they're not sure if anything will come back. But the few who understand this law give money and command return through spoken word, transforming ordinary giving into powerful spiritual activation that the universe must respond to. Behind the scenes of every person who experiences miraculous returns on their giving is someone who learned to tithe with word, not just with money. They don't give silently and hope. They give boldly and declare. They don't tithe from fear of consequence, but from confidence in cosmic law. The impact of this approach completely changes your relationship with generosity because you're no longer losing money when you give. You're investing in guaranteed multiplication. The journey toward mastering tithing with word requires understanding that your spoken declaration over every gift, donation, or tithe is what activates the return mechanism. The revelations that come through this practice extend far beyond financial return because you begin witnessing how conscious direction transforms every form of energy exchange in your experience. Write in the comments, "I tithe with declaration," if you're ready to transform your giving from hopeful gesture into powerful spiritual command that activates guaranteed return. This understanding takes tithing to its deepest spiritual level because true tithing is not about giving to individuals, organizations, or even causes you believe in. It's about giving to spiritual principle itself, acknowledging that spirit is your ultimate source rather than any person, job, or institution. When you tithe from this perspective, you're not trying to support someone else's work. You're honoring the universal law that governs all supply and circulation. The transformation happens when you realize that authentic tithing is done from covenant rather than emotion. It's not about feeling moved by someone's story, guilted into giving, or hoping to earn favor through generosity. It's about entering into spiritual contract with the law of circulation itself, sealing your participation in divine flow through conscious giving that acknowledges the source of all abundance. Think about this shift in your own giving patterns. When you give to principle rather than personality, you're no longer dependent on how others use your gift or whether they appreciate your generosity. You're not giving to get emotional satisfaction or recognition. You're giving to activate cosmic law that must respond regardless of human variables or external circumstances. The hidden truth behind exponential returns on giving is that someone learned to tithe as spiritual practice rather than emotional response. Behind the scenes of every miraculous multiplication is a person who understood that their giving was actually a declaration of faith in universal supply, not a transaction with limited human resources. But here's where most people miss the full power of this practice. You must never give in silence again. Every act of generosity must be accompanied by spoken declaration that waters the seed you're planting with your voice. Most people give money and walk away, treating their generosity like a gamble where they hope something good might happen. But when you speak over every gift, affirming its increase and expecting its return, you transform ordinary giving into spiritual command that the universe must honor. The impact of this practice is immediate, because you're no longer wondering if your giving will produce results. You're actively programming its multiplication through conscious declaration. The journey toward mastering declared giving requires developing the habit of never releasing money without speaking your expectation over it, understanding that your words are the activating force that distinguishes random generosity from strategic spiritual investment. The revelations that come through this practice teach you that every seed you plant in any area of life requires the water of spoken word to produce maximum harvest, whether you're planting financial seeds, relationship seeds, business seeds, or creative seeds. Write in the comments, "I speak over every seed," if you're ready to transform your giving from silent hope into powerful spiritual activation through conscious declaration. Now, the first 4 laws create incredible momentum toward abundance, but there's a 5th divine law that determines whether all your efforts will succeed or sabotage themselves through internal contradiction. The law of agreement reveals that you cannot say one thing and believe another without creating vibrational chaos that blocks your manifestation. Agreement means sacred harmony between what you say, what you believe, and what you genuinely expect to happen in your experience. Most people unknowingly violate this law constantly, creating internal warfare that neutralizes their abundance efforts. They affirm wealth in the morning but worry about bills at night. They declare prosperity while making jokes about being broke. They speak abundance but expect struggle. This contradiction creates scrambled signals that confuse the universe and delay financial breakthrough indefinitely. The transformation happens when you realize that true agreement isn't just about positive thinking. It's about achieving complete vibrational coherence between your conscious desires and your subconscious programming. When your inner and outer word finally align, you become magnetic to matching abundance, because there's no internal resistance disrupting your signal. Think about this challenge in your own experience. How often do you catch yourself speaking abundance while feeling scarcity? How frequently do you affirm prosperity while your deeper beliefs whisper doubts about your worthiness or capability? The hidden truth behind why some people manifest quickly while others struggle for years is found in this internal agreement between all levels of their being. But here's where this gets really powerful. You must consciously burn your contracts with scarcity. Over the years, you've made silent agreements with lack through family patterns that normalized struggle, cultural conditioning that romanticized poverty, and casual conversations that reinforced limitation. These unconscious contracts are still operating in your subconscious, sabotaging your conscious abundance efforts. The journey toward complete agreement requires actively dissolving these old contracts and consciously signing new ones that agree only with wealth, prosperity, and divine supply. Behind the scenes of every sustained financial transformation is someone who did this inner work of contract revision, refusing to honor agreements with lack that were never their true choice. The impact of achieving internal agreement is immediate because your entire being begins broadcasting the same frequency. Your words, thoughts, emotions, and expectations all begin pulling in the same direction rather than working against each other. The revelations that come through this practice extend far beyond money, because you discover how internal agreement affects every area of manifestation in your life. Write in the comments, "I choose new agreements," if you're ready to dissolve old contracts with lack and sign fresh agreements that align completely with abundance. Now, this brings us to what might be the most foundational divine law of all, because even if you master every other principle, your results will always be limited by this 6th law. The law of identity reveals that you can only receive what your identity can hold and attract what your subconscious genuinely believes you're worthy of experiencing. If you see yourself as a struggler, someone who's bad with money, or a person who never gets ahead, the universe has no choice but to mirror that exact limitation back to you. This is where most people hit an invisible ceiling in their financial growth. They might apply abundance techniques, speak positive words, and even experience temporary breakthroughs, but eventually they return to their original financial condition because their core identity hasn't shifted. Your subconscious mind acts like a thermostat, constantly adjusting your external circumstances to match your internal sense of who you are. The transformation happens when you understand that identity change must precede reality change, not the other way around. Most people wait for external circumstances to shift before they allow themselves to feel wealthy, successful, or abundant. But according to spiritual law, you must replace every old label with new identity statements first. Then reality reshapes itself to match your new self-concept. Think about the labels you've carried about yourself and money. I'm not good with numbers. Money doesn't come easily to me. I'm just not the wealthy type. Rich people are different from me. Every one of these identity statements functions like a spiritual contract that limits what you can receive because your subconscious mind will sabotage any opportunity that conflicts with your established sense of self. The hidden truth behind lasting financial transformation is that someone consciously replaced statements like, "I'm bad with money," with "I am wealth in motion." They stopped identifying as someone who struggles and started embodying the identity of someone for whom abundance flows naturally. Behind the scenes of every sustained prosperity story is this fundamental identity shift that preceded all external changes. The journey toward identity. Transformation requires daily repetition of new self-concepts until they feel more natural than the old limiting labels. You must speak your new identity aloud, think from your new identity, and make decisions from your new identity until your subconscious finally accepts this upgraded version of who you are. The impact of this work is profound because once identity truly changes through conscious repetition, reality must follow according to spiritual law. The revelations that come through identity transformation extend far beyond money because you discover that every area of your life reflects back your deepest beliefs about who you are and what you deserve to experience. Write in the comments, "I am wealth in motion," if you're ready to replace old financial identity labels with new abundance statements that reshape your entire reality. Now, all 6 laws we've explored create incredible potential for financial transformation, but there's a 7th and final divine law that determines whether you'll actually experience lasting change or simply remain an educated observer of spiritual principles. The law of obedience reveals that you cannot command money if you refuse to obey spiritual law consistently. This isn't about achieving perfection or never making mistakes. It's about developing the kind of daily, intentional, sacred repetition that reshapes your entire reality through rhythm. Most people approach spiritual principles like a buffet, picking and choosing which laws they'll follow based on their mood, convenience, or current circumstances. They practice abundance techniques when they remember, speak consciously when they feel inspired, and circulate money when it seems easy. But divine law doesn't respond to casual application. It responds to consistent obedience that creates new patterns in your subconscious programming. The transformation happens when you realize that spiritual obedience is the bridge between knowing these laws and living their results. Behind the scenes of every sustained financial breakthrough is someone who made the decision to practice these principles daily, regardless of how they felt, what their circumstances looked like, or whether they saw immediate evidence of change. Think about this challenge in your own journey with these 7 laws. How often have you learned powerful spiritual principles only to apply them sporadically when life got busy or doubt crept in? The hidden truth is that rhythm creates results more than intensity ever will. Someone who practices these laws imperfectly but consistently will always outperform someone who applies them perfectly but occasionally. This understanding leads us to a practical framework that can revolutionize your relationship with money in just 7 days. The 7 Days of Covenant Living Challenge requires you to practice all 7 laws daily as your new rhythm, creating a comprehensive spiritual practice that addresses every aspect of financial manifestation simultaneously. The structure is surprisingly simple, but profoundly effective. Each morning begins with conscious word declaration, speaking your financial reality into existence. Midday involves assumption embodiment, living as if your abundance is already complete. Throughout the day, you practice thought substitution, replacing any scarcity thinking with abundance statements. Evening includes circulation with declaration, releasing money while speaking its return. Finally, you seal each day with expectation practices that anchor your faith in divine provision. The impact of this 7-day intensive creates momentum that most people have never experienced because you're addressing financial transformation from every angle simultaneously rather than hoping one technique will somehow override years of contradictory programming. Write in the comments, "I commit to 7 days," if you're ready to move beyond studying these laws and start living them through consistent daily practice. The beauty of this 7-day framework lies in its precision and simplicity, starting each morning with a command routine that sets your entire day's frequency. The moment you wake, before checking your phone or allowing the world's chaos to infiltrate your consciousness, you begin with the law of the word, declaring, "My voice is the voice of wealth. I speak money into motion." This isn't just reciting words. You're literally programming your subconscious mind and announcing to the universe your financial intentions for the day. Immediately following this declaration, you embody the law of assumption by consciously shifting into living as though your supply is already released. This means making your morning coffee as someone who is financially free, choosing your clothes as someone whose abundance is secured, and planning your day from the mindset of someone whose prosperity is already manifesting. The transformation happens in these seemingly small moments because you're training your nervous system to operate from abundance rather than anxiety. As your day unfolds, the midday alignment practice becomes your spiritual anchor point, especially when the world tries to pull you back into old patterns of thinking. This is where the law of substitution becomes your most powerful tool. The moment you catch yourself thinking thoughts of lack, doubt, fear, or delay, you immediately interrupt that pattern and replace it with, "I am divinely provided for. There is no loss." In spirit. Think about how radical this practice actually is. Most people allow hundreds of scarcity thoughts to pass through their minds unchallenged throughout the day, each one reinforcing their financial limitations. But when you become vigilant about thought substitution, you're essentially rewiring your mental patterns in real time, refusing to allow your mind to rehearse lack when you could be rehearsing abundance. The hidden truth behind why this midday practice is so effective is that your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between repetition that happens during formal meditation and repetition that happens during daily life. Every time you substitute a fear-based thought with an abundance-based declaration, you're making a deposit in your spiritual bank account that accumulates interest throughout the day. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is someone who learned to guard their thoughts as carefully as they guard their physical possessions. Understanding that mental discipline creates material results. The impact of consistent thought substitution extends far beyond money because you begin experiencing how conscious mental direction affects every area of your life experience. The journey through this 7-day practice reveals layer after layer of unconscious programming that has been silently sabotaging your financial efforts, while simultaneously installing new patterns that naturally attract abundance. Write in the comments, "I guard my thoughts," if you're ready to practice vigilant thought substitution and refuse to allow scarcity thinking to sabotage your abundance efforts. As the day draws to a close, the evening seal ritual becomes the most powerful moment in your entire spiritual practice, because this is where you activate the law of circulation with absolute intention and divine declaration. Whether you're tithing to spiritual principle, giving to someone in need, or simply circulating money through normal transactions, you never release a single dollar without speaking over it. This seed is blessed, it returns to me multiplied, it opens doors no man can shut. This practice transforms ordinary money movement into extraordinary spiritual activation because you're programming every financial release with expectation of increase rather than fear of loss. Most people pay bills with resentment, give money with anxiety, or spend with worry about whether they'll have enough. But when you speak blessing over every dollar that leaves your hands, you're essentially commanding the universe to honor your circulation with abundant return. The transformation happens when you realize that this evening declaration isn't just hope or positive thinking, it's spiritual law in action. You're not asking the universe to maybe bless your giving. You're declaring that divine law must respond to your conscious circulation with multiplication. Behind the scenes of every financial miracle is someone who learned to speak over their money with this level of authority and expectation. Following your circulation declarations, you seal the entire day with expectation statements that anchor your faith in divine provision. This isn't passive hoping, but active commanding, declaring that your supply is already on its way, that opportunities are already arranging themselves, and that abundance is already flowing toward you through channels you haven't even imagined yet. But here's where this entire 7-day practice culminates in the most powerful spiritual statement you can make about your relationship with money. You seal all your practices with the ultimate declaration of authority. Because I obey divine law, money cannot ignore me. This becomes your spiritual sword, your rhythm, and your reprogramming tool that literally makes the external world bend to match your internal frequency. Think about the profound shift this represents in your relationship with abundance. You're no longer begging the universe for financial breakthrough or wondering if you deserve prosperity. You're declaring that your obedience to spiritual law creates an irresistible magnetic pull that money must respond to. The hidden truth behind this declaration is that it positions you as a spiritual authority rather than a financial victim. If you've stayed with me through this entire journey of the 7 divine laws, you're clearly someone who's ready for real transformation, not just surface-level motivation. The fact that you're still here tells me everything I need to know about your commitment to changing your financial reality through spiritual alignment rather than just hoping for lucky breaks. These laws we've explored together aren't going anywhere. They'll be working in your life whether you consciously apply them or not. But now you have the choice to work with them intentionally, to become someone who commands abundance rather than chases it. This is exactly the kind of deep, practical, spiritual content I share here because I believe you deserve to understand how the universe actually operates behind the scenes. If this resonates with you, if you can feel these principles stirring something inside that knows this is your path forward, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to explore about the intersection of spiritual law and practical abundance, and I want to continue this conversation with you. Let me know you made it all the way through by writing "I'm ready to command" in the comments below. When I see that phrase, I'll know you're serious about this transformation and not just looking for quick fixes or temporary inspiration. And if this content created that spark of recognition, that feeling of, this is what I've been looking for, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps me know these deeper teachings are reaching the right people, those who are ready to do the inner work that creates outer change. There's a video right here that complements this topic perfectly, diving even deeper into how your spiritual identity shapes your material reality. Click and continue with me over there, because this is just the beginning of what's possible when you align with divine law.